Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream, where I, your beloved hostess with the mostess, Erebus Undercroft, am currently playing Sid Meier's Pirates. Hello, Crockett. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check out that Dark Tide update. It sounds really cool. I especially love the map design in that game. It's my favorite. And if you get a chance, you should definitely check out Dawn of War 2 as well. It's more of an RTS, but they don't really have so much the like the unit build up type stuff. It's more so just like the tactical. You have who you have. Yeah. It's really interesting, especially for the time. There's a lot of stuff in there that kind of got ribbed off of in newer RTS games. It was pretty revolutionary. But yeah, so for those of you who weren't here for last stream, I missed Thursday because I had to go take care of some real life stuff. But we're back this Tuesday playing one of my favorite pirate games of all time and arguably one of the best pirate games of all time, Sid Meier's Pirates. You can see here on the save file off to the right-hand side, we're just off the northern coast of South America. We got 1 or 2 successful voyages under our belt last time. And I guess we'll just get started and see where it all goes. At least, to get some sound going. The game has really fun music. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and lay out our situation here. This game is, I hesitate to call it like an immersive sim per se, although there are some elements of immersive sim to it. It's almost a one-for-one mechanical copy of the 1986 game of the same name, which I'm not playing because it's much clunkier. I like this game. I like this a little bit better for picking up and playing. But the setting is that you are someone who came to the Caribbean after your parents got kidnapped by an evil pirate villain and his henchman, the Baron Raimundo. Okay, sounds good. And you're trying to rescue them. That's kind of the vibe anyway. So as we stand currently, let me see where we're at for fleet status. Yeah, so we just captured this last week, War Galleon Amphitrite, there we go. Which I think is probably going to be our ship going forwards. It's got a lot of upgrades and a lot of crew capacity. This is our original ship, the good sloop Revenge, which we've upgraded quite a bit. Got it up to where it can have 112 crew maximum for boarding operations and stuff like that. We captured a couple specialists, 1 Cooper and 1 Quartermaster, both of whom were very helpful. In terms of personal status, we are the illustrious Captain Erebus, currently sitting at 3 out of 24 wealth points, which is measured in terms of wealth accrued and also your land acreage, which you get from doing work for the various colonial powers in and around the Caribbean. With the Spanish, we have no current rank, but we do have a 3,000 gold bounty, which is nice. We're sitting tight on that. We've been sailing a lot against the Spanish and a little bit against the French, but mostly against the Spanish. With the English, we currently hold the privateer rank of Major with a 2 out of 8, and we're currently an Admiral with the Dutch at a 4 out of 8 ranking. We have some good progress overall on that. We've been mainly focusing on the Dutch because that's who we came to the Caribbean with. We haven't defeated any of the other pirate legends yet. We haven't found any other treasure, although we do have a treasure map for, I believe, Captain Jack Rackham. We're probably going to go hunt down today. In terms of the lost relative quests, we've made a little bit of progress on one of them. I think there are 4. I'm pretty sure there are 4 lost relatives. So for each of these, we have to go fight the evil Baron Raimundo, I believe is his name. It's the perfect mustache-twirly name. And currently we have a little bit of an ongoing romance with the daughter of the governor of the city of Curacao, which is very fun. No villains avenged. I'm not sure who all counts as a villain avenged, but I guess we'll find that out as we go. Yeah, so in terms of treasure map, this is the one we're currently sitting at, Jack Rackham's treasure. We've got some information here. This is supposed to be searching the vicinity of Cartagena. We'll probably head over there. And it looks like whatever this here is, knife stone, should be something that we see on the coastline. And then we've got the shallows here. So if we find out what the shallows are supposed to be, we can come into the east, head a little bit to the south, and hopefully X marks the spot. We pick up that treasure and the money that comes along with it. So the game is set in the Caribbean, appropriately enough. It's a pretty expansive map altogether. I actually am really fond of the map in this game. You can see like most of the places here. Welcome back, Crockett. Not much, just kind of going over some of our progress in this game. But yeah, one of my favorite things about this game is the map, because it actually is the Caribbean. It has a lot of places you don't see really like often referenced. So New Netherland up here on the coast, the southern coast of of North America. Got St. Augustine here, owned by the Spanish. Then down in the Florida Keys is currently held by the French, and the Grand Bahamas is held by the English. A lot of where we've been working at lately has been down towards right here in Cuba. So Havana, Puerto Príncipe, Santiago de Cuba. That's where we've been doing most of our sailing lately. We've been mostly ignoring Hispaniola, although we have sailed to Santo Domingo, I believe, to try and hunt down one of the villains. And then there's one small Dutch holding here in San Martin. Over on this part of the map, we spent a little bit of time there, but not a whole lot. Martinique is supposed to be Dutch, but it's French for the moment. Most of what we've been doing is hanging out here off the northern coast of South America, because there's 3 Dutch holdings, and we've mostly been sailing Dutch. There's Aruba. I think they just picked up Versailles from the French. Curacao and Bonaire, I believe it is, right here. And then currently we're sitting nice and pretty off the southern coast, or northern coast of South America, somewhere around here, I believe. Yeah, right here, just left Aruba. So most of what we're going to be doing, we definitely want to keep an eye out for the evil Baron Raimundo, pirate villain extraordinaire. Because he's got another piece of information on where to find our lost relatives, which is like a big factor in this game. All of these things here, all of the things on the screen sort of count towards your overall achievement points, because the way this game was structured, it's very retro in that way, where you don't really beat the game per se. There's not a set storyline that you have to try and overcome. A lot of how this game works is trying to get your achievement points, and then you bank that in sort of a Hall of Fame. Like if you've ever played the second Civilization game, the idea is not to beat the game in the sense that you have a perfect playthrough. It's to get as many achievement points as possible, and that goes onto a board, and you've got the list of all your pirates you've ever had kind of sitting in that location. So this time around, just to get reacquainted, I've been spending most of the time sailing with the Dutch and most of the time sailing against the Spanish. We picked up a couple ranks with the English along the way, and most of that is just done by doing jobs, which is pretty fun. And then they've got the top 10 pirates, and then over time you can fight your way up. So we're starting here at number 10, and we're catching up to Captain Jack Rackham, whose treasure we're about to steal. So any of you who have been hanging out on the stream since the beginning will probably remember that Jack Rackham was the original stream beef once upon a time. Mostly because, historically speaking, a lot of his story is not very accurately recorded. He is mostly known for stealing from fishermen. He was not in any way a pirate legend, although it's pretty cute to have him on the list, especially at the bottom. He's a fun sort of first target. We got Bart Roberts. We figured out where the base of Roque Basiliano is. We might go mess with him a little bit. I ran across Blackbeard's base, actually, but I think his flagship's a little too beefy for us. And, of course, Henry Morgan. This game is set in the 1680s, so it's kind of at the golden age. Wasn't Henry Morgan the guy who ate shoe leather to survive, or was that someone else? That was absolutely Henry Morgan, at least according to a couple different records. That was during his attempts to attack the city of Panama, I believe. And they were coming through the jungle. And so a lot of the issue with that is that you tend to run out of food in that jungle. In fact, yes. You tend to run out of food in that jungle is part of the issue. Actually, let me see. We need to find Cartagena, because that's where our treasure map goes. In fact, there are some records from the American Civil War. We're going to go Cartagena. Let's see. So Cartagena, that's the Lost Sister map. That's not the one I want. I want the treasure map. There we go. We're looking for Jack Rackham's treasure. Vicinity of Cartagena, we're looking for something called Knifestone. Yeah, there's some records from the American Civil War of some U.S. troops actually trying to navigate some of the same. That's from the Spanish-American War, rather. Let's see. Of some troops trying to navigate the exact same waters, or land, that Henry Morgan's men navigated once upon a time, and having some very disparaging things to say about the situation in question. It's supposedly very, very difficult terrain, and the thing that's really remarkable about Henry Morgan's expedition is he did that with the largest buccaneer army ever assembled at the time. A very, very large amount of men overall. Spanish raider? Yeah, let's see if we can hit that raider. That would be a good target. I want to try out this new boat that we got. It's a very large boat, although I don't think we're going to reach it in time. Yeah, there we go. Full 12 gunner, 86 men. But yeah, extremely large. In fact, he had more men than he had actual ships to work with. He ended up having to leave men behind at a little string of fortresses along the way. And even so, once he got to the water, or once he got to the land, haha, got him. Once he got to the land, he didn't have enough, like, food, which is how he ended up in the situation that he did. The only thing that saved him was the boot leather. And also the fact, we'll take some of this food. I like to keep 6 months of food on hand. The boot leather saved him, but also the fact that he brought buccaneers along, and the buccaneers will sink her. Yeah, that's not a great time. It helps a little bit that the tanning methods of the time weren't as chemically focused as they are now, so it was a little bit more viable. But it was definitely not a great time overall. But yeah, he brought buccaneers along, and the buccaneers as a whole didn't start as pirates. They started mainly as hunters. They would set up, that's where they get their names from, the boucan, which is a type of grill that would be used to like slow smoke pork over a long period of time. The Spanish raider. So if we hit these raiders as we go along, that will help us a lot in terms of getting our rep up when we come back from our voyage. But yeah, so the buccaneers got their name from the boucan, making boucanier, which is a type of smoked meat that they would sell. And then they would trade that for guns and other needful things. Hit him with the grape shot. That'll set him straight. And when the Spanish responded by saying, hey, you can't buy guns. That's not okay. You're not a nation state. What are you dorks doing sitting on a beach in the middle of nowhere? Trading all of your food for guns and then taking the guns and doing who knows what with them, usually raiding the Spanish. Hence the buccaneer was born. Normally I keep her, but we need to stay fast. We can keep boats on the way back. Most of what I want is the treasure. So let's see. We need 19 of our available 139 crew to keep her sailing. So we're running a little bit low on crew anyway, because I think this is 300 people to fully man the current boat that we have. So we definitely don't want to keep her, because that's going to cut into the amount we have available for boarding. So we'll definitely sink her. Oops, I keep hitting that button. Pirate hunter? A pirate hunter? Go away, little pirate hunter. Not interested. Pirates attack the city of Rio de la Hacha. Well, that's not good. Not our problem, though, either. Never be fast sailing on a trash tier galleon. You're exactly right. I want to get rid of her, but at the moment, she's kind of our best bet. I want to get back to my sloop. I love my sloop. Sloop makes me so happy. Alright, so let's fleet status. Got treasure map. That's the Lost Sister map. Rackham's treasure. We have knife stone, something shallows. X marks the spot there. So I think that was knife stone. Yeah, that's knife stone there. If you have any tips on that one, Celerity, I would appreciate it. Powder shallows. There we go. Hey, rude. Very rude. Well, I might have cut off more than I can chew here, folks. Ah, nah. They're gonna go down. Let's see, I wonder if the meat tasted good. When people hunted whales back then, they used them only for oil or food as well. That's a little bit after the time that I'm kind of talking about, but that's more towards late 1700s, I believe. I'm not really like familiar with the history of the whaling era, but like mostly it was oil. There's not a whole lot you can eat on the whale, at least that type of whale. I'm sure you could eat some things. Ah, I missed. Let's come about here. We need to take out their crew before we can board them is the problem. Hey, there we go. Good. But yeah, I agree with you, Celerity. This galleon, I was trying her out, but she's not really like... Spanish crewman is a skilled gunner who can trade gunners in rapid firing. Quickly persuaded to join our crew. Excellent. Take some luxuries on board, why not? And some spice. We'll have to pay attention to our cargo, because I think we're getting to the point where we might be kind of full up. Yeah, we're pretty full up. We don't need these guns, because we only need 32 to equip the galleon. Oh, I accidentally got the treasure galleon, which I don't want. Abandon her. Ooh, 68 tons of cargo. This could be a problem. That's fine, though. We'll make do, right? Oh, that's a big old pirate hunter over there. Yeah, with a landing party ashore. But yeah, like, by all accounts, the meat did taste pretty good. It was a very unusual sort of food stuff. But the main advantage there that you would not have with goods that you brought on board, or that you brought from, like, from Europe as an example, the main advantage is that it was fairly fresh and that it kept very, very well. So you would have stuff like ship's biscuits and things like that on board your ship that would just be slowly getting worse and worse. Being able to resupply anywhere that was sort of your area of operations was going to be an advantage. Alright, so I think this might be Stonehead. It looks like Stonehead, doesn't it? Sorry, y'all, it's been a long time since I played this game. So we need to go slightly more west and then slightly south. Yeah, let's go this way. Slightly more west. And that looks like the geyser right there. Slightly south. And then the question is, how do I dig? That's the part I'm wondering. So there's, looks like a geyser. But yeah, pretty much anything that you could get while you were sort of in the territory was going to be an advantage. That's the geyser. Let's see. Fleet status. You just walked away from it. Okay. Well, the issue I'm running into is how do I dig? Because there's no dig command. And I remember from the original game, it used to be 2, I believe. Thinking about that food they would make is making me hungry for barbecue. Yeah, that's actually what the Spanish referred to it as, barbacoa, with the Spanish, is where we get our term barbecue. And it was the Spanish who were responsible for a lot of the pigs that were hunted for this process as well. Yeah, it's like if you go to Chipotle and they've got like barbacoa, that's one of the options that you can like have. Like that's spicing. The term for that is actually sort of comes down through from the age of piracy in the early 1600s. It looks like a landmark but isn't. I see. So that looks like a landmark but isn't. That looks like a landmark. Now the main issue that I'm having is I don't see where the option, where the command is. Unless it's this. Oh, okay. There we go. Thanks for that celerity. I appreciate it. That was a good hint. Excellent. Free treasure. Now we just got to get away with it. Alright, back to the ship. Alright, flagship. 32 guns, 88 men. We don't want to attack. Yeah, free money for sure. keep changing the view. There we go. So the one thing that's really tricky about this game, at least for me, is that the way that it's set up, it's all played on the numpad, which I remember from the 1986 version. And it's actually pretty cool in terms of a control system. The only area in which it kind of becomes a little bit more of an issue is that a lot of the commands there are things that take you out of the game. So like the map, the fleet status, the change view is very strange. So if you hit change view, it comes in like right behind the ship, which isn't very helpful for this kind of game. Like you can see a little bit further along, but it's not very nice at all. I prefer the isometric. It works a little better in terms of like controls. I also need to go full sail. I keep forgetting to do that. The original game was like all 2D pixels, but it was kind of from the same perspective. Because I played that back in the day, and once upon a time I had a laptop that couldn't play a whole lot. And that and System Shock, the original System Shock, were sort of the two big games that I played a bunch of when I was younger. The other question is, what's all this here? Sloop of war sailing out of San Maria, going for Rio de la Hacha. But yeah, so the thing to kind of remember about the age of piracy is like a lot of what we think of as pirates in the golden age, which would be sort of your late 1600s up to like the mid 1700s, roughly. A lot of what comes from that doesn't actually come from something that sprang from whole cloth. It's a bunch of different legacies sort of stacked on top of each other. Yes, I would like that sloop of war. The problem is that I don't have enough crew to capture her, I don't think. Because if I remember correctly, on the sloop of war, don't they have like 2 or 3 times as many like crew as a regular sloop, or am I thinking of something different? But yeah, so like pirates didn't spring from whole cloth. They came down from the buccaneers, and the buccaneers themselves came down a little bit from like the French flibustiere, which is where we get our modern term filibuster from. Like all these different movements were sort of centered around the project of colonialization. Spanish raider, what are you? What are you? What are you? Nope. Don't want to hit the ground. It's just a regular sloop. That's fine. They can continue. But yeah, so it comes down from like this big ongoing project of colonialization. And each of these successive like groups of people, these people who come to the Caribbean to raid and to pirate, they come here sort of chasing the legacy of the people who came before. So for the Age of Buccaneers, like you identified, Rocket, we have Henry Avery as sort of the archetypical buccaneer, the king of the buccaneers, as it were. And then the men who come after him are trying to chase sort of the same dream, which is to say like this process of showing up, picking a bunch of Spanish butt, getting all of the money, as well as a title and land, and, you know, fighting their way into the mobility, becoming gentlemen of fortune, gentlemen who are made from fortune, the fortunes that they win and lose in the Caribbean. That's not going to work. I need to tack a little bit. Is there a passage through there? I can't tell. Yeah, there's a passage. I can probably fit through there. Right? Right? Oh no, there's a storm. That's not good. That's really not good. We have 2 months of food left, so we definitely need to get to a port ASAP. We might just have to sell off a little bit at Aruba and then continue heading east, otherwise we might be in trouble. Yeah, that's definitely what I would like, Celerity, is a sloop of war or like some flavor of brig, because I like brigs. We're going to try and push it to Curacao or Bonaire. Curaçao's where I would like to be, because I've had a lot of success of Curacao. I've also seen playthroughs where people take the Indian war canoe and they just use that as a way to like get into boarding as fast as possible and then just win the sword fight every time. Seems to be another common strategy. Because I haven't seen, I don't think we've gotten to the sword fights yet. That's something you might enjoy, Crockett. So one of the things that's really cute about this game, it's kind of like Sea of Thieves. Mail runners, yes, the mail runners are pretty good too. I remember those. I don't think I've seen one playthrough like at all. What was I saying? Nice. A raid defeated by the by Curacao. But yeah, so you get this process of where everyone wants to be Henry Avery, and then you get Henry Avery showing up. or you get everyone wants to be Henry Morgan, and then you have Henry Avery show up, and then he's pretty successful, although in a different area of the sea. He's successful in the pirate round, which takes place near the Gulf of Aden, just off the western coast of India, just near the Red Sea. Alright, we'll trade with the merchant. We'll sell everything we can while we're here to free up some space, and then we'll sell off some of these ships, and then it might be time to dissolve the voyage. But I think this is probably just about as successful as it's likely to get. For us anyway this time. Yeah, Henry Avery shows up trying to sort of work from the same playbook. And then he's so successful that everyone shows up during the golden age of piracy trying to recreate the pirate republic and a lot of these other, like, mostly mythological structures that Avery's known for at the time. But with shipwright. Yeah, we'll sell off this treasure galleon. An extra 400, now that we've sold off enough to where we won't lose the cargo space. Were there any pirates that were tall, like over 6 feet? It's funny that you should say that, because Henry Avery is known for being fairly tall. In fact, like, early in his career, he went by sort of the nom de guerre. He went by the nickname of Long Ben Bridgman as one of his aliases. And the reason he was known as Long Ben was specifically because he was pretty tall. That was during his time as a slaver, specifically. 6'5". Wow, that's intense. Alright, so I don't know if we can sell off any of these luxuries. We might be able to trade that for something a little cheaper. The nice thing about this game is it's usually pretty gentle when it comes towards letting you, like, unbuy things. So we definitely want to sell off these luxuries, and then we'll take these goods somewhere. Perfect. And then I'll buy a little bit of food just so we're not completely starving. Then we'll sail either, probably east, I think. And then we'll try and sell off these goods, and then when we've done that, I'll probably swap back to the sloop as the main ship. And we don't want to get more men, because that's going to mean that we have a smaller share when we split the booty. No ring, thank you. I don't need to romance anyone. Yeah, you would fit right in. I mean, you stand out definitionally. Like, it's not very common, especially in that time period, for people to get very tall. You would be very distinct. The barmaid is annoyed by the pushy captain of the guard. Buzz off, you young whippersnapper, or I'll run you through, he threatens. You reply, pardon my insolence, sir, or I'll teach you some manners, nay. Imagine bringing a modern-day avocado to a random pirate who has avocado back in that time. Yeah. We talked a little bit about that as well with one of our earlier streams about William Dampier, who is sort of a famous pirate naturalist. And he operated in sort of the same area of the Spanish Main as we've been sailing in for the most part, at least during the early part of his career. And he's one of the first European records of someone describing an avocado and guacamole. Let's duel this guy. I'll fight him. Time to teach him some manners. Yeah, there's a lot in this area in history that ties back into... Oh, I missed the jump. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that trying to remember how to play all these mini games has been a challenge. Most of it's the dancing for me. There we go. The dancing minigame I'm terrible at. It's like Dance Dance Revolution, except you don't get any clues. There we go, it's a little cleaner. My, but you're a bold one. That quick sword of yours will come in handy around these parts. Look, more men are looking to join your crew. Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm about to split the booty and leave. Have you been introduced to the governor of Aruba's daughter? She's a real beauty. I'll have to check in when I get there. But yeah. Celerity, if you have any recommendations on the dancing minigame, that would be extremely helpful. The barmaid notices you immediately. I tremble with apprehension, Erebus. It says that you're now the 9th most notorious pirate on the entire Spanish Main. Fear not, madam, you reply graciously. Number 9 out of like 10. That's one more than I was previously. Yeah, we're gonna sail over to Aruba, I think, and then cash out this voyage. Because even though it's been fairly successful, something I really like about this game is it sort of forces you to balance. You can't just sail forever, but you can sail for a while because your crew morale becomes an issue. And then you might become a target of a mutiny yourself, which is unfortunate. Far from ideal. We'll sell off these goods that we've gathered. Perfect. And then sell off our sugar. You can see this place isn't quite as wealthy, so the prices aren't quite as good. But it'll at least let us cash out, which is most of what we want. Alright. We can consult with the shipwright. We'll get the good old Revenge repaired. And then I need to change her to my flagship. I think I might need to leave port to do that, though. That's a problem. Maybe not. Anyway, we'll sell off this 4 galleon because she's really slow. I like her a lot, but she's really slow. Tons of cargo. No. What are we stacked up on? What am I missing? Food, maybe? Yeah, that's probably it. So if we do that, and then we go and shipwright, and then we sell her. Perfect. So we'll keep this one. Whenever you end your voyage, you get to keep whatever ship is your flagship, and then you get to keep a certain portion of whatever you've gathered in terms of your gold, depending on what your difficulty is. So usually most of it goes to the crew. I think it's 20% split at the difficulty we're playing currently. And then that goes towards your wealth, and it also serves as sort of your nest egg for your next voyage. Alright. I think it's time to divide the plunder, but first I want to talk to the governor. My dear Admiral Erebus, please come in. As you know, we're at war with the evil Spanish and the perfidious English. I understand that recently you captured a Spanish treasure ship and you captured a Spanish trade galleon. Excellent, the king will be pleased. Soon you will be promoted to Baroness. Ooh, fancy. The governor's rather plain daughter enters the room. She seems quite taken with you and invites you to this evening's grand ball. Oh boy. Yes. The worst minigame. The hardest minigame. We're gonna take a shot at this. Wish me luck, everyone. You can kind of see, like, you have to go off of her body language, which is fine until you get to some of the weirder ones, like the ones that are, like, behind, because it looks really close to the original one. And then she starts to ask you to go forwards, which is the one where I always mess up. Oh my goodness. I haven't messed up yet. Oh! Ah! See? It's really tough. I'm not a huge fan. I'm getting better. See, then it gets like this, and it's like, oh my god. The funny thing, though, is that it kind of like how I imagine myself in the age of piracy. If you asked me to dance, is pretty much how I would probably act if I was asked to dance nowadays. Which is not very well, and with a considerable amount of stumbling. What? And they usually repeat it a few different times, which is what I'm learning. But that's helpful, because you can kind of get the pattern. Aww. Cute. I might be getting into bar fights so if I was alive back then. Yeah. Let's see. Such a charming rogue. I have information that may interest you. Yes, please. 2,000 gold reward is offered for a certain Mr. K. Farthingsworth, who's wanted by the crown for embezzlement. I have reason to believe he's hiding in the city of Antigua. The tavern keeper there will assist you. Excellent. I'll note that in my log. So it looks like we've got a voyage to Antigua. picking people up, throwing them outside windows, that sort of thing. Yeah, like the Wild West, but you know, the Caribbean, with more sweating and more bugs. It's a fun thought. Alright. That's pretty good. No promotion for us yet, which is fine. Let's go ahead and divide the plunder, and then we'll use that bounty lead that we got in order to sort of start our next expedition. I think that'll be the order of operations. With great anticipation, the loot is divided among the crew. Each man eagerly takes a small fortune of 128 doubloons as his share. You'll be able to keep your flagship Revenge. As adventurer captain, your 20% share of loot comes to 3,586, which is pretty good. Your health is fine, and as the months pass, you quickly become bored with life on land, and so your flagship is refit and the bold crew assembled as you prepare to set sail for further adventure. I think I'm going to go off of what Celerity was saying before. Because Celerity was saying Sloop of War is a good ship, and I agree. I remember it being very, very good. So I think I'm going to have to go for that Sloop of War. But yeah, so this is the other thing that I really like about this game. You've got options as you go to stay at your current difficulty. If you don't do very, very well, then it gives you the option to step down. But if you do really well on a voyage, you can step up in difficulty for a higher cut of the profits, but also for greater difficulty. You can dynamically adjust your difficulty as you go, which is something I wish was more present in modern video games. Because in a lot of games, what they end up doing is they go and they require you to make a blind choice at the very beginning before you even know anything about the game. And then generally speaking, you're stuck with it. Alright, so let's visit the tavern. We'll go and recruit ourselves some men. Good start for sure. A mysterious traveler offers to sell you part of a secret map showing the location of the pirate Roque Brasiliano's buried treasure for 400. I'll take it. In the vicinity of Santo Domingo. Interesting. So it looks like we've got a couple different temples. We've got a stone head, and then a little bit to the west of that. I wonder what this structure is down here. I remember there being sort of a little point, like a little peninsula near Santo Domingo. We might have to check a map and see if we can cheese that one without getting any more pieces. Okay, apparently Holland is no longer at war with France. That's interesting. I guess we can only attack the Spanish now. Shipwright ship at St. Kitts can upgrade your ship with copper plating if you like. Your ship will turn more quickly. Cool. That would be good. A royal sloop is supposed to be really nice. Roque Brasiliano. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye out for him. I think I know where his base is, actually. We're going to need to get a lot of crew together, though. Let's see. Roque Brasiliano, home, Lost Harbor. Special dueling skill, quick thrust. Oh, that's a problem. Last seen in Lost Harbor 74 months ago. So that's what, 6 years? Alright, sails on the Royal Sloop Bloody Delight. Interesting. Alright. So here's the plan. We know that there is a treasure in the vicinity of San Domingo. The question is, where around San Domingo is it? Which we're not really going to know until we get there. It could be sort of along that point there. The main issue is we don't have anything on the coast to kind of steer us, so we might have to wait until we get another treasure map piece until we can go after that one. So in the meantime, for the purposes of this voyage, what else do I have in my log here? And who's at war with who? Spanish and English war, Spanish and Dutch war. Okay, so we can attack the Spanish, we can attack the English. We don't want to attack the English because they're currently, like, we have a little bit of standing with them. So it looks like we're stuck with the Spanish. The world map will sail from Bonaire, and let's head up to the coast of San Domingo. We'll head up there, we'll sail along Hispaniola, we'll sail along the southern portion of Cuba here. Maybe go towards Campeche and Villahermosa. We'll see how we feel when we get there. And then we'll raid along these ports here. We'll take what we can, and then we'll stop off in Port Royal over here in Jamaica. And that's where we'll sell off some of our proceeds and then see how the crew feels. And then if we're lucky, maybe, just maybe, we get another piece of that treasure map while we're there. Good plan, great plan. Let's do this thing. But yeah, like there's a lot of different ways you could have gotten into the Caribbean, Crockett, back in that time. A lot of it came down to just trading operations, especially towards the end of the 1600s, after the Spanish hegemony had sort of been broken in the 1600s, the early part of the 1600s. There were a lot of opportunities to come on trading vessels. Like Henry Morgan, there's a couple different theories as to how he got to the Caribbean. Either for the booze or the food, yeah. I mean, after as many months at sea as it would take you to get there, you would definitely be up for the food, for sure. Couple Jesuit missions. What's this here? I think this is a pirate vessel, pirate raider. A brigantine, perfect. That's exactly what I want. Get over here. Get your butt over here. What do we got? Doesn't tell me how many guns, that's a problem. Oh. 8 guns, 125 crew. Alright. Oh, snap. They're coming in hot. That's going to be a problem. Alright, wish me luck. It's like 2-to-1 odds here. Gotta push him back before we run out of men. That's how this game is played. Hey, there we go. That'll work. The other thing that's interesting about this game is that over time, your pirate gets older and they get slower. So you have to be more careful about how you engage. But when you're young, you're really fast. You can just fight everybody. Let's see. And I definitely want to keep her, because she's already got some upgrades, which is really nice. Look at that cotton sails. She's got grape shot, which is what I need the most. You got the bronze cannons. Yes, it is a cool feature. Also, depending on like the life events that happen as you sail, they can negatively affect your health. And so if you get sick from like years in prison or being marooned a lot because of mutinies or because of sinking, you're forced to retire early. What do you do with the drunken sailor? Stop off in the pirate haven and see if we can pick up some additional men. The pirate haven of Tom's Rest, population 1200, quiet and desolate. Apparently this is Jack Rackham's base. Ogren's new pickaxes. Ooh, pickaxe, now we're talking. Is it like, what's it look like? Is it just like a pickaxe, or has it got extra stuff going on? Alright, extra men. Take them. Nice. That sounds pretty ideal. 3 variations, cool. I love the lasgun variations in that game, they're really nice. A mysterious stranger offers to sell you an additional part of a secret map showing the location of Roque Basiliana's buried treasury. I'll take it. Yoink. Ooh, that's interesting. Hangman's Rest, alright. They've added a bolter pistol, though, from what I've heard. They're very nice. They've been very short of a bolter pistol in that game for a while. Oh, that's cool. You can see right over there on the back of this guy's, where this dude is. That's Blackbeard's flag, or what's historically reported to be Blackbeard's flag. Let's see. It's rumored that the Regenerie, bound from Montserrat, is carrying over 1,000 in gold. I believe she's a French brig of war. That would be nice to have. The barmaid whispers. Let's see where she's going. So she's heading from Tortuga down to Montserrat. Let's say where she is currently. Apparently she's right outside of port. That would be a really good grab. It would be bold. A very bold grab. Alright, shipwright. We've got enough gold for the moment. I think we can afford to upgrade the Loyal Fortune. Loyal Fortune? That's not a pirate ship name. Royal Fortune. Now there's a pirate ship name. Alright, we'll upgrade her with the ultrafine powder just to get her a little bit more gun. More gun is always good. pop over to the merchant and we'll sell off what we can. I'm gonna winnow this down. Oh, she doesn't have any money. There's no money. Not a stitch of money. Alright, that's fine. Speaking of Dark Tide, who's your main and what difficulties you play? I play whatever my friends are playing at. Usually we try to stay north of the medium difficulty. I forget what the differences are, what they're called. But I was mostly just playing the, well, what is it? I want to say soldier class, but that's not the term. My brain is leaving with me. Guardsman, yeah, veteran, thank you. That's the one. Ulrich's mostly nice. Yeah, I play a lot of veteran. Military payroll. That would be good to grab. A French pick of war. That's why she has so much money on board, is because she's a payroll ship. Beautiful. Alright. The Loyal Fortune. We're going to rename her, because this is bugging me. Royal Fortune's a very much more appropriate pirate ship name. Let's see. We're looking at 172 crew out of 125 max, so she's got some overhead. Oh, we might have a shot. We'll have to see. We don't want to attack her from down here, partially because Ogre Germain, yeah. Ogre is really cool. So we could attack from this angle. The problem is the wind is coming from the east at the moment. So what we want to get is something called the weather gauge. So in terms of naval tactics, that just means that the wind is on your side of the fighting area versus the person you're trying to attack. And what that does is it gives you the advantage in how you maneuver and where you go. So we want to attack her. Oh, 1 second. We want to attack her from the windward side. Let's see. So we want to attack her here. We want to try and maneuver around the wind and then come at her from the east. Something like this is more along the lines of what we want. Alright, she has a lot of crew, so we're going to try and grape shot her as we go. We want to try and keep her intact because the ship is very valuable. And if we can zoom by and get on her stern before she can get her guns on us, perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Now we're stuck in irons, which is when the wind is directly on the front. We need to come back around. Smack her again like that. And now our crews are equal. It's also really funny because the more that you stunt on these guys with like blocks and the dodges and stuff like that, the more it moves the advantage in your sort of area. You can kind of play with that a little bit if you're really good. I'm not that good. Excellent. You could say that that duel was fire, I believe is how the kids would say. Alright, courage has impressed the enemy. I need a group of 16 sailors volunteers to join. Excellent. And 1,000 gold pieces into the war chest already, which is also an advantage. And then we're going to keep this Sprig of War, and then she's going to be our go-to. I want to take 32 just in case, I think. And then remember our sailing plan, we're going to navigate our way over between Hispaniola and Cuba. Go through the Windward Passage. We're going to take the Windward Passage down into Port Royal, is the plan. And hopefully they're not going to send pirate hunters after us. Jack Rackham. There he is. The worst pirate in history. That's not true. That's not fair. He's still pretty bad, though. He's bad and he should feel bad, Jack Rackham. After I swapped to this Brig of War. Oh, that's not, alright, there's a bark, I think? Yeah, French bark. Very unusually rigged ship. There's Tortuga. This isn't quite right. Tortuga should be an island, but it's not. It's gonna shoot at us because it doesn't like us. Grain transport. Yeah, why not? You can see, because we've got so many ships, our crew is stretched very, very thin. Something else this game is really cool about is that your men are extremely valuable, and like your biggest tool for getting more men is generally going to be your reputation, which follows historically a lot of the record in regards to Henry Morgan, as well as a number of other like privateer and buccaneer captains. Like your ability to hold a successful voyage was your biggest indicator of whether or not you'd be able to get men to come with you on your next one. And over time, like your reputation was very much sort of your currency, because you couldn't do anything without a crew, and if no one was going to follow you, it wasn't like being part of a Navy service where you could go and you could press gang someone, or like push them, or pay them a bunch of money to join you on the front end. You had to convince them. Because pirate, privateer, and buccaneer ships, one thing they mostly shared in common is that they had some pretty strong elements of democracy, especially buccaneer and later pirate ships. So if you had a good idea, it wasn't enough to just have a good idea. Oh, there's a pirate hunter. It's not good. To outrun this pirate hunter. Yeah, if you had a good idea, part of the difficulty lay in like trying to convince everyone else that it was a good idea as well. Alright, we're through the Windward Passage. Pirate hunter's still being a pain in the butt. There she goes. Alright. French governor, huh? Which is a lot of what goes into the person I was going to talk about today. We're near Petit Guave. Guavi? Yeah, so we need to sail around the point here on Hispaniola and come down to Port Royal from the east. Yeah, so the person I was kind of preparing to talk about today was specifically Henry Avery, and he fits really well into that information and that knowledge, specifically because his main claim to fame was convincing people to try something very new at the time, which was instead of pirating in the Caribbean, instead of sailing to the Spanish Main, which is to say like the eastern coast of Latin America, he was trying to convince people to sail all the way to the East Indies and do their pirating there instead, which at the time was not particularly common. It was something that was known. There were other pirates who had been very successful there, like American colonial pirate Thomas Tew. What's this? Going for New London. Queen Anne's Revenge. That can't be Blackbeard. There's no way. It would have that. Yeah, that can't be. Alright, let's see. Consult with shipwright. So the Brig of War is the one that we want. She's got a few upgrades, but she needs a little bit of a touch-up. Really nice space and hold, though. The same as a brig, but with extra guns. In fact, we can check in our handy-dandy Piratopedia and see what the differences are in this game. We've got our brig. It's a medium-sized ship. She's classified as a warship with a maximum crew of 150, 24 guns, and 70 cargo. Speed is medium. Best points of sail are the broad beam reach, which is to say that like slightly behind into the side of the ship. The broad reach, which is anything that's kind of behind the ship. The running broad reach, and running into the wind. So basically anything in the back 180 degrees of the ship is going to be our fastest point of sail. And then, let's see, where's the other one? Brig of War right below it. The maximum crew of 200, 32 guns on a brig, which is really, really nice. Medium speed and same basic points of sail, so this would be an objectively better option and a huge upgrade from our little sloop, because currently, if we look at the stats for a sloop, We're sitting at 75 crew maximum, which is not a whole lot. That strongly limits our ability to capture a bunch of different larger ships. Only 12 guns, which isn't enough to really deal out much damage in the early stages of the fight, and basically half the maximum cargo. She's fast, but she has a lot of downsides. So I think we're going to swap to the sloop of war and sell off everything else. We need to keep 32 guns on hand because that's how many we need for the brig of war. And then we'll sell off the brigantine, and we'll sell the Revenge. Which is a shame because she's got a lot of nice upgrades at this point. But we can start to build up the Regenerie. It does need repairs though. Points. Alright, cool. New boat. New boat, same as the old boat. But bigger. Alright, we'll visit the tavern, see who we can recruit while we're here in Jamaica. And check our rumors. Yeah, I'll take another piece of that treasure map. Oh, okay. Okay. This must be the very eastern area around San Domingo, because this is like a west-east point, and not like a southern point. Tom's Rest near Puerto Pa. He's going to carry over 500 gold doubloons. It's not a lot. This town needs some fresh blood. I understand some European immigrants have arrived at the nearest Jesuit mission. That would be cool. We could go do that. Something else that I really enjoy about this game is that the element of immersive sim that it sort of like plays in a little bit. It's not super deep. It's a little bit more than kiddie pool deep. But the nice thing about it, let's talk to the governor while we're here, is that you can have an effect on the world and you kind of see it and you can also experience it. So one example here is with the Jesuit missions. Dear Major Erebus, please come in. As you know, we're at war with the evil Spanish, the slimy French, and the greedy Dutch, and that's why we love the English. They're always at war with everyone. I understand that recently you captured a French grain transport and you captured a French payroll courier. Excellent, the king will be pleased. You've been promoted, huzzah! The rank of colonel. As a result, the merchants will trade more goods in English ports. Cool. Happy to increase the size of your estate by 300 acres as well. Excellent. The governor's attractive daughter enters the room. She seems quite taken with you and invites you to the evening's grand ball. Oh boy, here we go again. But yeah, so the Jesuit mission is a good example. Because if we go and we do that particular voyage, we have to escort an immigrant ship to Port Royal. And if it arrives, Port Royal gets bigger. That means that they've got more stuff to sell us, and they've got more men to recruit. They've got a bunch of things that make it a more attractive proposition for us to go there. So the loop kind of feeds itself. You can get small little trading, like small little settlements that don't even show up on the map. And if you play your cards right, and you do the right missions, they can be advanced into proper ports that have their own place on the map and that you can go and visit, and you can kind of grow any of these places and take them over for various factions and sort of shape your game map as you play, which is really nice, really cool, and very old school. I'm gonna go ahead and take her invitation here. I'm gonna torture myself a little bit more. Something I am curious about is if the patterns, like how much they change. Because the songs, the music is definitely different between the different factions. Like the Dutch ballroom scenes have different music. I don't know if the dances are different though, which is something I'm curious about. Oh dear. Oh boy. Honestly, the dancing is part of the reason I don't play at any of the higher difficulties yet, is because it's already bad enough. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate the rip. Somehow I expect that the daughter of the governor of Port Royal and I are not going to get on very well. Your team rage quit? What happened, Crockett? What did you do? I just got rejected. I hope your seamanship is better than your Trepish story. Oh my goodness. Alright. Voyage. I'm really curious what exactly happened with this. Lost sister. Is that San Maria? I think that's Santa Maria. It's gotta be. I think I can probably find my sister. First, Rock Brasiliano's treasure. Yeah, that's the part that I'm curious about, Crockett, is whether it was you or if it was something else. Also, what difficulty do you play on? Are you on the upper tier, I presume, especially if someone is rage quitting? Alright, let's see. So, San Domingo. Definitely somewhere around there. Saint Dominique de Val. If we go Saint Dominique de Val and then we head north. I'm trying to think of these in terms of like Sea of Thieves, and this is not Sea of Thieves. It's not that deep. Yeah, there's Saint Dominique de Val, so it's got to be down towards like the southern portion here. Come across and see how this goes. Yeah, everything is tied right here to this fame indicator you can see above the compass. That's the big and important statistic, because that's what allows you to get off and running pretty early on. I think we've got a bounty around here too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, in regards to Henry Avery, so a lot of his sort of pedigree when it came to being a sailor, there is some record that he sailed with the English Navy early on in his career and was fairly successful in that regard. There are historical references to him sailing off the coast of Africa as part of the slave trade, which is where he picked up his sort of nom de guerre, sort of nickname or alias as Long Ben Bridgman. And then by the time of his mutiny, oh my goodness, there we go. By the time of his mutiny, he had signed on with something called the Spanish Expedition, which was an English expedition that was meant to recover the wrecks of Spanish treasure galleons in the Caribbean. They were going to sign on with the Spanish. There was also some privateering involved. What's this here? Brig of war. Against the French merchantman. Yeah, why not? Let's take a merchantman. We can take a merchantman for sure. A lot of guns. Yeah, there we go. Strike your colors. Food, definitely needed. We don't need any guns, but the luxuries will be very welcome. Thank you. And then she hasn't taken much damage, just a little bit of sail damage, so yeah, we'll keep her as a prize. Part of the issue too is we're sailing upwind at the moment, which is adding to the challenge. But yeah, the Spanish expedition was remarkable in the sense that they were going to pay a monthly wage as opposed to just a set amount, which was sort of the standard practice for the time period. So there was potential for it to be incredibly lucrative. And they signed on Henry Avery as first mate of one of the 4 ships that they had put together for the expedition. There were 4 altogether. The first was the Charles II, which was a privateering vessel that was specifically designed. Spanish governor, huh? I don't think he's going to arrive. Sorry, guys. Not going to happen. You're going to slam into the coast? It looks like she is. Yeah, she's just going to bounce off the coast and then have to come back downwind. Your single gun. Not impressed. Get over here. Get over here. Ships collide with a mighty crash. The demoralized crew quickly surrenders. Excellent. 1,000 gold. Yes, please. And then we'll sink her. Alright, let's see here. We'll check the map. So there's Saint-Dominique de Val. We want to go north towards Saint-Dominique de Val. That's Saint-Dominique de Val. They're heading for San Domingo. I'll let them go. Yeah, the war canoes will raid different settlements, and then if you can also have the opportunity to sort of steer in particular ways depending on where you land. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so there is a statue head. It's supposed to be a little bit east of that, so if we go northwest of the statue head, we should see a temple. And then if we head west of that temple, we should find our thing. So there is the temple. Then we head west from there. Nope. What the heck? Temple should be just about west of it. Yeah. Ah, there it is. Right there. Yes, please. Excellent. 4,000 gold pieces. Now we're talking. Now it's a voyage. Fantastic. Sloop of war and a French merchantman. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a sloop of war. Why not? Back around here as the guns reload. Damn, she's stacked. 16 guns on that little boat. Merchantman's out and has no guns left, which is good. That's a start. Coming in with a grape shot. Oh, I missed. Her sails are shredded though, so we can outrun her a little bit. and the 33 crew. They're going to try and board us, I imagine. Their main goal is to get that merchantman out of here. Oof, that was a hard hit. I keep forgetting that sloop still has like 14 guns on her. He's got some teeth. Second. Oh boy, here she comes. Yeah, we gotta chase this merchantman down. If she gets away, I think that ends the battle. You lived somehow. Excellent. That's most of my experience with Dark Tide, to be honest. We lived somehow. Alright, this merchantman is starting to tick me off. I feel like the sloop's going to be chasing us no matter what. So I'm pretty sure it's on, the onus is on us to sink that merchantman first. The issue is that we're currently a little on fire, which is a problem. But I think if we close and like rake across her stern, we should be able to light her up enough to get her down. Oops, slip away into the gathering dusk. Oh well. I still struggle with those 2-on-1s. Hello, Steph. How are you this morning? Alright, what we got here? Grain transport. I think we're okay on food for now. We're going to make back towards Jamaica, I think, since we're off the southern coast of Hispaniola. We'll just keep on this set of heading. We'll head back to Port Royal, get repaired, sell off our prize. Very eepy. Aw. Has your sleep schedule been going around again? Let's see here. What do we got? That's a French raider. Heading for Petit Guava? Let's see. Oh, heading for Port Royal. Ooh, we should try and catch her. Or she can get to Port Royal, ideally. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. But also had an appointment today, only got 1 hour sleep. Oh no. 14 guns, 76 men. Yeah, we can take that. Come here, you bugger. Oh, he's being clever. So for the moment, we've got the advantage in numbers. If I can just finish him off. There we go. Yeah, 1 hour of sleep doesn't sound good at all. You should try and get some more sleep if you can. I'm glad you're here, but also sleep is important. Alright, one of the French crewmen is a skilled sailmaker who can make sail repairs at sea. He's quickly persuaded to join the crew. Excellent. 300 gold pieces plunder, which isn't much, but they do have some luxuries. And we can get our guns back up, which is very, very nice. And then we'll keep the sloop of war. I need to look at her stats and see how she is, but she might be good to keep just as a secondary. The big problem, she's got a lot of sail damage. She doesn't have very many upgrades, but she will sell well. And hopefully we're going to get a couple Attagirls from the governor. For saving the port. Please come in. As you know, we're full of the evil Spanish and the slimy French. Oh, they stopped fighting with the Dutch. That's new. I understand you recently captured a French sloop of war and a French merchantman. Yes, indeed. Promoted to Admiral! Huzzah! Ship upgrades will be cheaper in English ports. Fantastic. And an increase in estate size. Oh, sure, why not? I'll dance. This is going to be a problem. It's a little bit of an issue because like the only way to get better at this minigame is to do it. But also it's maddening. It's very difficult. It makes me angry. Maddening is the incorrect term. What it is frustrating. It's really only frustrating, I think, because I'm not sure, because there's definitely enough like visual feedback. I think it's just a little more subtle than like it really needs to be. I'm not sure what about this minigame is so frustrating. Come on. Doing okay. Hopefully she's going to be very impressed that I've improved my dancing since last time. Oh! I say as I trip over my feet. The other part of it, I think, is that most of the difficult bits are near the end. And where you stand at the end is what sort of determines your success or failure in a huge way. So it feels like you're just kind of trying to survive the first part. Let's see. I could use any one of these. A Dutch rudder, which I believe is a ship, a weather glass, a quality spyglass, or a fencing shirt, puffy. I think a puffy fencing shirt would be very becoming. It also helps with fencing speed, which is always a plus. Yeah, objective survive, basically. I think that's part of it, is that like there's no real indication of how far along you are. There's limited indication of how successful you've been because the main indicator is the throbby heart thing, which isn't very clear. You don't know how much time you've got to work with, and it doesn't have any mechanics that let you catch up. There's no catch-up mechanic. So it either becomes like this series of slight mistakes that affect the whole, especially near the end, or it becomes a long series of like, oh my god, what's going on? Where am I at? I think it's the lack of communication overall in the UI. It's cool, it's immersive, theoretically. Allows quicker dueling moves. Yeah, why not? I look forward to hearing more of your daring adventures. Excellent. But that's the thing, too, is that it's tied into a lot of neat mechanics. You can get rumors from like the girls that you dance with in terms of like treasures that you can go after. You can get cool items like that. Yeah, we'll recruit these guys. There's a lot of neat stuff that's tied to it. A ring that will help you win the heart of the governor's daughter. Not yet. I've heard rumor that the Costa Verde bound for Santiago is carrying over 1,000 in gold. I believe she's a Spanish trade galleon. Interesting. Yeah, like there's a lot of mechanical stuff that ties into the dancing minigame that's important and very central to the game, and that's neat in the loop. It's just that it's frustrating to play. Very close. Very close to Port Royal at the moment. We might be able to grab her along the way. 19 per ton. Excellent. I will certainly sell them here then. Alright. The merchant will sell some of this off. Yeah, a lot of what would drive mutinies in the Age of Sail did come down to fairly simple things like salaries, which were already very, very bad. and food, which was already very, very bad, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, Crockett. But with the ship right here, we'll get some repairs to the brig of war. Sell the merchantman. Repair the sloop of war. Oh, I was saying that, like, so we were talking about food at sea specifically earlier. That was a really common cause for mutiny, was that the food would go bad, or you'd end up really low on food, but usually it was the quality of the food. And also access to it, because there would be a distinction, right, between the officers' mess and the rest of the crew. So part of what would get kind of in the Spanish craw when it came to the buccaneer that the buccaneers were selling, was that was the food stuff that was available not really very often from port. And it was comparatively good. I think someone just sank that Spanish trade galleon. But generally speaking, if you were before the mast, if you were sort of like a regular crew, oh, you're that's right, you're playing Darktide. Yeah, I don't imagine you'll be able to hear much. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so like part of what would cause these issues was that the officers would have much better food than the men before the mast, the people who were actually running the ship in any given case. So as food would begin to run low, that already existing sort of like disparity between what the people in charge were getting versus what everyone actually doing the work was getting would become wider and wider. And there were exceptions to that, of course, just like there is sort of in the modern economy. This trade galleon as we go. You'd have people like the master of sail, or people like the ship's carpenter, who would have, you know, somewhat more advantageous positions, and would eat better and have get paid more money for their skills and things like that. Ah, it's too far away. But by and large, there was a very thick line there. There we go. That should get her to surrender. There's a very thick and passable line there between the two categories. Surrender, I'll take it. Which would of course be like a major source of pain for everyone involved. Turn 10. Oh, we'll sink her, she's not worth it. We're getting to the point where we really only want to capture the ships if we're close to something that we actually want. What do we got here? Another trade galleon. Just rake her stern real quick and call it good. Heck yeah. Easy. 500 gold plus a bunch of sugar. I'll take it. Didn't take much damage, so we'll keep her. And then, yeah, that'll work. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, I was just saying that, so like, one thing I was wanting to talk about today was mutiny specifically. And so what we were talking about earlier with the buccaneer that the buccaneers would make, part of the reason the Spanish would get so upset about that was that it was something that would often find its way into like the regular sort of foodstuffs of the crew, which broke down the sort of structure that you would have. You'd have people who were before the mast, which is to say people who were mostly involved with sailing the ship and like fulfilling all these different like tasks. Let's see, deserted cabin. I think that's Santa Maria. Let's check that real quick. Where's Santa Maria? That's Catalina. There we go, Santa Maria. Made to sail east towards Santa Maria. But yeah, so like you have this strong disparity in food stuff. If you were like an officer, you would eat very, very well comparatively compared to the men on board, and then as the food would become more scarce, there would be an issue. That was also the case with pay, which is what we have in the case of Henry Avery, well, it was a pay-based situation because the expedition that he signed on to was paying a regular salary and promised to pay it like as long as it took. Because what would normally happen is you would have to set aside money if you were going to go at sea in order to provide for your family. Because you obviously weren't going to be there, you'd be halfway across the world doing whatever. And there was no reliable means to send your pay home at all. So a lot of the appeal for this expedition in question was the ability to get paid regularly during the time you were at sea, which was supposed to work out for the company because they would have you for as long as they needed. It was supposed to work out for the sailors because they would make a lot more than they would normally make. Yeah. The problem was paperwork, because this was an English ship that was going to be sailing with the Spanish for Spanish interests. So they needed to have the right paperwork. So letters of marque is something that people have heard about a lot usually. And those are basically, literally, like physically letters. There's a big bundle of papers that authorized a person to sail on behalf of a particular nation. Usually in some roles like an auxiliary of the Navy or something along those lines. Which is what brought the original 4 ships of the expedition to La Coruña, which was on the western coast of Spain. They weren't even anywhere near the Caribbean at that point. They were just there to get paperwork from Madrid. They were supposed to take about 2 weeks to sail there, and like no one's really sure why, but it took them months to even get to La Coruña, which was only supposed to be a very, very short journey away. By the time they got there, the paperwork wasn't there either. You had 4 ships, each of whom had, dozens, if not hundreds of men altogether, in the expedition stuck in port. And you end up in this situation where they knew that they were very close to home. Let's see, what's that? Trade galleon? Portobello? Why not? Yoink. 10 guns, 49 men. Let's take her. They knew that they were very close to home. They knew that they were 2 weeks of voyage away from home. All they needed was the money that they'd already been promised that wasn't being paid, because the people who had put together the expedition knew that as soon as they paid these men, the men would start to leave. So it ended up being sort of a standoff where they couldn't sail without the paperwork, but also, like, they couldn't pay the men. And in much the same way as, like, you had disproportionate effects of food in times of, like, short food rations, you had a disproportionate effect on the officers versus the men. Because the officers were still had a lot of money on hand, whereas the men knew that every week that they were spending in port was another week that their family would be going without back in England. Yoink! 600 gold pieces, don't mind if I do. Bit of food and some more sugar, although I'm glad I kept that other trade galleon as a tender because we're running low on space to store things. Although we're about to get jumped by a pirate hunter, I wonder. Also wonder if I'd be down to play some Darktide. I might be down to play some Darktide sometime. It's been a while, especially with the new update. It sounds really cool. Let's see what we got for map here. San Maria's right there. Okay. So from San Maria, if we go southeast, south of a deserted cabin, we should be able to find the sister. The pickaxe does sound really cool. I just want to see the design of it, because everything in that game, like, it's true to tabletop, from what I've seen, like, based on the minis, but also it just has such a cool style all of its own. It's really nice. Oh, a Spanish smuggler, huh? The Spanish are really not going to be happy with me. I've taken like 2 or 3 Spanish prizes. You can talk about how the players in Darktide are just press-ganged Marines. Yeah, that's true. That is something else that they have in common with the Age of Sail. Oops. Go ahead and anchor here, and we'll try and find this treasure. That is something that they do a really good job of showing in Darktide, is like this idea of, like, you have your planetary guard, and like very rarely is it the case that... Alright, so that's going to be San Maria, I believe. Double check. Yeah, ship is here. I am here. Yeah, ship is there, I am here. And I want to go southeast. south, and east. Eyeglass? Maybe? The downside is that this minigame, when you're on land, is actually, like, still real time. Let's see, we need Arch Rock and we need a deserted cabin. Yeah, so this is sort of the situation that Henry Avery found himself in. Like, he was first mate on the biggest, most capable ship that was on hand at the time. And of course, you know, his word has a lot. Your character does not have a shadow. Yes, I noticed that as well. It's very strange. Alright, let's see. And the spyglass is very weird as well. Like, you can kinda works a little bit. Not really. What's that? That'll be the geyser. So do we have a geyser on the map? The treasure map. We do not. We got deserted cabin and Incan temple. We need to find one of these. I think what's happened is I've gone too far south. I'm pretty sure that's what we got. What's going on? This spyglass UI is just not very good. This is one of the things they probably could have, like, left out. There's my ship. What's that? That's a dead tree. Is that on our map? Not on the map. Well, let's see. I'm from San Maria. I'm gonna go this way. Yeah, I think that's probably something to do with the character mod, because I do have the character modded. Left it back in Neverland. Yeah, that's gotta be it. With Captain Hook. Another staple of our popular image of the golden age of piracy is fucking Captain Hook's outfit. Which actually, like, owes a lot to Henry Morgan specifically. Solely because of his association with the nobility. Because Morgan's whole thing was that he wanted to be part of the nobility. Like, that was sort of his contribution to the story and the lore. Well, oh wait, what's that? That's just the geyser again. What the heck? Maybe I'm not as cool as I thought I was. Wait, this is Santa Marta. We need to be near Santa Maria. Oops. Oops. Wrong Santa. Oopsie. Well, that's embarrassing. How often were real pirates dismembered by TikTok crocs? Well, if the records are to be believed, pretty often during Henry Morgan's expedition to take Panama. There were at least 3 or 4 pirates who were recorded as being, like, eaten or killed by various wildlife. Troop transport. A troop transport in my waters. Great. I'm not here for you. Alright, let's try this again. Time with a little better consideration. Yeah, not really a particularly huge worry for pirates, generally speaking. Oh, crap. That's the problem, is it landed me at the settlement, which is not where I want to be. I want to be outside the settlement. There we go. Yeah, we'll anchor here. Okay, there we go. That's looking better. So that's the Arched Rock. Yeah, Arched Rock right there. We need to go southeast of the Arched Rock, south of the deserted cabin. That's where we should find our first family member. Yeah, there's the deserted cabin. This is looking better. And then that right there. Oops. That right there is going to be where we need to be. First family member rescued, huzzah! It's been a long time since I've read Peter Pan, actually. I'm not sure, Steph. I know that part of his whole thing, let's see, evil villain Marquis Montalban, who wronged our family, sails the waters of the Spanish Main in his mighty galleon Marquesa. At last report, he was lurking in the city of Rio de la Hacha. No, I think what it was is he was a pirate, like in the real world TM, and he accidentally sailed to Neverland, I believe, and ended up stuck there. And then the Lost Boys, for some reason, ended up getting into it with him. That's him right there, the Marquis Montalban. Time to chase this dude down, I guess. He's fast. Oh my goodness. What the heck, dude? Where did he go? I saw him for a second. The other issue we're running into is our crew morale is getting very, very low. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the whole thing was that Captain Hook was just a pirate. That was his backstory. He's just a pirate. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop here at St. Mary because I need to sell off this boat. Oh, there he goes back the other way. What the heck? Let's see. This is the tavern. No one here to recruit, which is a shame. Captain Kidd's treasure. Yes, I'll take that. Grand Granada, huh? Apparently Hook was based on the real privateer Christopher Newport. Interesting. That's someone I don't know much about. Sounds like a New York privateer. Marquesa bound for Rio de la Hacha is carrying over 5,000 in gold. That would be nice to grab. Spanish flagged galleon. Oh my goodness. So yeah, she's going for Rio de la Hacha right now. So we just snag her on the way. We should be able to get some more info. The evil Marquis Montalban. I last heard he had left Puerto Bello, was headed to Rio de la Hacha. We're hot on his trail, at least for the moment. Alright, how much will they buy of my stuff? Because I need to be light. As light as I can get. Okay. And then we'll sell off this prize galleon. And then we'll repair our brig of war. And then we'll sail away. Alright, come here, you bastard. With motivation is revenge on oh my god, that's 40 guns! That's too many guns. I'm not a fan. Fast, too. My goodness. Oh, that's not good. Oh, this is very bad. Radically outnumbered. Since Peter Pan was responsible for his whole hook hand situation. I see. I remember that being a pretty big motivation, for sure. Evil Marquis Montalban emerges from hiding below deck. You found me at last to regret crossing swords with me. On guard. He's fast, too. He's too fast. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 245 versus 71. Captain tossed this pathetic creature overboard. Perhaps he'll think twice before challenging a master swordsman like me again. Luckily, a nearby sloop of war from your fleet is able to haul you from the water. Chastened but undaunted, you continue your adventure. Oh my god. Well, that was terrifying. Yeah, I had to bail. Like, we've got more info now, which is good, and we didn't fail entirely because we had a backup boat. I am very sad to lose that brig of war, though. This thing's fast, though. I like it. Schnippy. See what we can do with her. 12 guns, 160 crew, that's fine. 30, 40? Yeah, I think it was like 30 or 40. Like, I did not have much time to win that. The one thing that's a little weird about this game that they don't communicate super well is that the size of your crew also translates into how well you can fight. So if you're very outnumbered, like, your odds of succeeding are extremely low. She's going to try and chase us and board us because she has more crew. So what we're going to do is just do this little tacking maneuver. Take out her guns. And then we'll start wearing down her crew as we go. But yeah, we don't have much of a margin for error now at all. A little sail damage on her. That was dangerous. Yeah, that was really close. Just gonna sink her. She's a troop transport, which means if she reaches somewhere, then that place becomes harder to take. Which means we've got a lot of potential benefit to us from sinking her, at least in terms of our standing with the various factions who are fighting the Spanish, which is basically everyone. Yeah, hundreds just died. That is war at sea. Oops, hundreds just died. Alright. We need to sail back to Dutch waters and close this expedition out, I think. It's already been very expensive. Yeah, so as we were talking about Henry Avery, that was a big part of what got Avery in the position that he was, which is to say that he was going around as first mate of the flagship. He had a lot of reasons to go around to the different other ships in the fleet, a lot of different excuses. And as he did, he was telling the men on these ships that he was going to take them where they should get money enough. Because the main issue is they had no money and they couldn't leave because they didn't have the paperwork. So he began to sort of foment this interest in everyone else just to get away. He didn't even tell them where he was going or what he was doing, which if he would have told them at the time, he probably would have had much less support because his plan was not to go pirating in the Caribbean. His plan was to head to the East Indies, head for India, to head for the Gulf of Aden, to head for Madagascar, which at the time wasn't one of the sort of like well-known famous routes for success. At least not in the general consciousness at the time. So as he starts to put together... Oh, that's still held by the Spanish, damn. As he starts to put together, like, starts to foment this rebellion, they begin to come up with, like, their little signals and their plan for how they're going to go about things. Spanish raider, I need to sink that. I really need to sink that. I want to get on the weather gauge. There we go. That'll work. 22 gunner. Ooh, numbers aren't great. I don't have a backup ship, do I? I do not. I'm gonna wave off. I would like to take them, but they're just too well armed to do it safely. Alright, so we're trying to get back towards Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. Over on this end of things. That's the plan anyway. But as far as Avery was concerned, like the big part of what he was trying to do was get as many ships as possible to go with him, because that would just exponentially increase the chances that they had of succeeding. If you have one boat, then you've got like one group of men, you can do one thing at a time, right? Hello, Rose. How are you? Welcome back. And welcome to the stream again. It's actually going on today, which is nice. But like arguably, like it was more so like a workers issue because they weren't getting paid. They weren't sailing. And they had no other options. I'm okay, I'll be around in a bit. Okay, sounds good. How is your internet situation going? You had a big issue with the storm, didn't you? Yeah, these men really did get like painted into a corner with no real options. Using a Raspberry Pi as a router right now. Oh my goodness, MacGyvering it over here. How's that working? Is it good enough to stream with, or are you kind of stuck on that for the moment? Yeah, we'll recruit a few more men. We need a call to get the other one sent back today. Ah, okay. Backup cheap one is coming tonight. Excellent. Hopefully that cheap one will tide you over for a bit. Petite Guave. Let's see. It's a wealthy French trading post. Town has a population of 800 landowners. Town garrison consists of 240 soldiers. Merchants in this town often offer competitive prices. Break and carry copper plating. Not good enough to stream, but new one should be. Good, good, good. I'm glad it's arriving in time for you to keep on your schedule a bit. I know your usual Sunday Minecraft stream got kind of interrupted. The Spanish have put a price on your head of 6,000 gold pieces. Have they now? Let's see. Hold up in Rio de la Hacha. I'll add it to my rounds. We need to get this guy. I think he's just too good for us right now, though. We might need a bigger boat. Alright. Still at war with the Spanish and the French. That's good. Two nice sets of targets to hit. Understand you recently sank a Spanish fast galleon and captured a Spanish trade galleon. Yep, I did. Promoted to Baroness. Fantastic. Crew recruiting will be much easier in Dutch ports. Nice. I understand you're quite a successful young swashbuckler. Always dreamt of wearing a flashy ruby ring or sparkling diamond necklace. Perhaps you shall come upon one in your travels. Maybe. Maybe. Fancy new titles. Always welcome. Does that mean I can get them now? No, I can't get them now. That sucks. Alright, so what I'm going to try and do here is we have a fast boat. I'm going to sail around to some of these trade posts and get a bunch of dudes on the boat. And then we're going to go try and intercept that Spanish troop ship before it can get here. I think that maxes out the boat. You can also pay to upgrade some of the stuff on the boat. Would be nice. Get some fancier cannons and all that good stuff. Trade ship, and that right there will be the troop ship, I think. I think that's her. Yeah, Spanish raider. Alright, buddy, I'm back. Ah, I missed. Ooh, that's not good. I need to get away. Nope. Nope. Ah, damn. Damn. There we go. He's just fast. He's so fast. Oh, there's no time. I'm not gonna make it. He's too fast. I can't parry. I just don't have the reaction speed. Damn. Captured and locked away in the Maracaibo prison. The greedy guard offers to let you escape in exchange for 6,000 gold pieces. I'll stay. Months pass slowly in Maracaibo prison. Late one night, you manage to pry loose the bars of your prison window. By avoiding the town guard, you may be able to sneak out of town. Let's try it. Worth a shot, right? This is a dead end. Oh. Yeah, sneaking mission. So hopefully he comes this way, maybe. Right? I've never succeeded at one of these either, now that I think about it. I also don't think they gave me any tutorials on how to play this, so I'm just kind of winging it. It's good to know that I can actually, like, hide in the haystacks. That's something, right? Yeah, don't get caught, indeed. That might be too dangerous. Wait for him to... You gonna move? Oh, I can hit him from behind. That's good to know. Okay, okay. That gives me options. Yeah, who needs tutorials when you've got like a rapier sharp wit like yours truly? Alright. What's his situation? We've got some haystacks there. So verisimilitude. It really is. Like, that's what's so magical about this game. Like, it just works. Like, it captures the mechanics capture the vibe that it's going for, like, very thoroughly. Which is very nice. Alright, I think that guy took a... Yeah, he took a right. Where are you going, dude? Pick a direction for me. Oh, that's not good. Two of them, oh boy. Just do what you would do if you were in the situation IRL. Yeah, more or less, yeah. Like, I wish it were a little clearer sometimes. I think it's mostly like the camera angles that throw me off. Yeah. That's the thing that happens. Whack. Is he coming this way? Yeah, he's coming this way. Where you going, buddy? Coming this way. Is he gonna see his buddy? That's what I'm curious about. Because if he sees him, I'm done for. Like, there's a spy in our midst. Dirty, filthy pirates. Oh, they wake him up. Oh boy. Oh, there's 3 of them? Oh my god. He's fine. Yeah, just don't worry about it. 1. Oh no. Oh no. Can I hide? Oh my goodness. Do they calm back down? Oh my heavens. Just walk it off, yeah. Don't need to go to the doctor. I'm gonna walk it off. Fine. Wonk. Back. Wonk. Smack. That's the other thing, is I don't even really know what my target is. I just know I'm trying to get out of town. I'm hoping. Yeah, there we go. It's just like real life, get incredibly injured, and the boss is like, get back to your patrols. Yeah. Yes! I made it! Now my... Oh, now they're shooting at me. I'm very unhappy. Understandable. Alright, time to dissolve. Oh, they're sending someone after me too. Alright, time to dissolve this expedition before they get really saucy and decide to mutiny, because right now the crew is extremely sad face. Okay, so we need to get back to the Dutch. That's our main thing. If we can do that, then we'll be fine. What's that there? Yeah, why not? We'll take one more prize. Because it looks like the ship's in surprisingly good shape, considering she got shot to pieces previously. We're definitely fast enough to catch her. Unless she actually is damaged, in which case we're not going to catch her. Yeah, she slipped away. We must still have sail damage that I'm not seeing. But yeah, so when the time came, Henry Avery and his men managed to successfully rush the captain's cabin on board the Charles II. Remember, the Charles II was an incredibly well-built privateering ship for the time. One of the best privateering ships probably built up to that time. It was fairly new as well. Like, this is going to be like its second or third voyage. They successfully secured that particular ship. And then they sent men from the Charles II to the James, which was the second best ship in the flotilla, with the plan to start the mutiny aboard the James as well. Let's see. Pull in here. We'll see what we can sell from the merchant. I don't know if we've got anything, really. No, not really. We've got enough guns to cover it, but most of the rest is food. Yeah, we'll sell that. And then we'll go to the shipwright. Make sure that she's repaired, and then probably divide the plunder with the governor real quick. Immigrants are flocking to Puerto Cabello, and immigrants are flocking to Curacao. Excellent, very cool. All on my way to the rank of countess. Daughter looking for a ring. I know, I know. But yeah, so like the attempt to start the mutiny aboard the James was pretty silly. You essentially have a bunch of men in a boat. Where's the ring? You have to buy it from the men at the tavern. So if you go to the tavern, there's this guy hiding in the corner here. And sometimes they'll offer you a ring that you can buy, and if you have it, you have the option to continue the romance. That's sort of like one of the score categories. She wants the tang ring. Yeah, I know she does. I don't know if I want to marry her, to be quite honest. I have lots of women in lots of ports because I'm a pirate, yar. Let's see, info on Trinidad. 2,800 citizens, town garrison of 240 soldiers. You can take towns, by the way, in this game, which is really cool because once you take them, you can hand them over to any flag you want. The problem is getting 240 pirates together.
Ooh, cradle post.
Alright, I'll fight this guy. Chuvang! Wrecked. I want to know why they don't let you romance the barmaids. It's much more interesting than the governor's daughter. Much more useful too in terms of like the rumors. I don't want any more men right now, because if I do that, then I'm going to run into issues. Because I need to divide my my money before they mutiny. Marquis Montalban. Last I heard, he left Rio de la Hacha and is headed to San Domingo. Okay. Interesting. Good to keep tabs on him. Alright, so consult with the shipwright. We're repaired. We've sold all of our goods. Time to divide the plunder. We're going to stay adventure. But yeah, so imagine this longboat that's gone and rowed its way up to the sort of the gunwale of the James. And at the time, the watch officer was the one who confronted them at the time, at the sort of the edge of the ship. And when they ran into the watch officer, they asked, "Is the drunken bosun aboard?" Which very much confused the watch officer. The watch officer, of course, is like, "We don't have a drunken bosun on board. I'm pretty sure our bosun is on the shore at the moment. Why are you asking me this weird question at 2 a.m.?" Let's see, shipwright. Looking good. Got cannons and chain shot. Can't buy any more upgrades here. That's something I need to do, is sail around a little bit and look for some more ship upgrades. I think that's part of what we've been struggling with. Cool. Bring some men aboard. So yeah, so clearly, like, understandably, the officer of the watch is like, "This isn't correct," and goes and talks to the captain. Grab the map of Captain Kidd's treasure. Why not? Heading for San Domingo.
Weddings allowed.
Spanish flag galleon Marquesa. Yeah, I knew that. Alright. Going away. Put a few more men together, as many as we can hold anyway. Yeah. I think that's part of what we need, is we need ship upgrades. It's probably enough to find our way to Gran Granada, honestly.
Weddings allowed.
Low slash is fast. Okay, that's probably why he was hitting me so often with that. Now I'll know to block that next time with the low slash. Yeah, so the officer of the watch goes and, like, tells the captain that, "Hey, we've got an issue here. Some dudes are off the side of the ship asking weird questions in the middle of the night." Just slip by a ruby here. And so the captain goes and yells over to the Charles II, and he calls out for Avery because the captain is currently not available. And he calls out and sees Avery on deck. And he says he thinks that the men are deserting or mutinying, and to which Avery replies, "Oh, I know that perfectly well." And soon after, the Charles II sets sail and runs its way out of the port of La Coruña, with the James and the fort of the port itself shooting at her. And they make their way back out to sea. Yeah, we're maxed out. You can see now that we've got a really high rank with the Dutch, we're getting a lot more men offering to come aboard. See, there's the ruby ring. Unfortunately, I'm basically broke.
Weddings allowed.
Okay, so we got some more intel. Full upgrades on that flag galleon. Oh my goodness. And all the rumors now tie back to him specifically. Alright, good enough. Time to go raid the Spanish Main, I guess. But yes, the Charles II sets sail after what's essentially a bloodless coup, which is a pretty big accomplishment in and of itself. This trade galleon real quick. Just rake across her stern here. And after they get clear of the port the next day, basically. Here. Get over here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Nice pile of goods, some guns to take on board. We'll keep like 20 guns. We'll get a few extra. Keep the prize and keep sailing. Our goal is just pick up a few and then head back. Because remember, every single ship that we take on is going to lower the amount of crew that we have available. to actually like conduct our business. So we don't want to go and laden ourselves down with like 2 or 3 of these prize ships, especially since we don't have any of the tools we need to actually take them comparatively bloodlessly. And doubly so when there's going to be a pirate hunter coming after us here in a minute, which there she is right there on the south, or the bottom left corner of the screen. That's a bit of an issue. Yeah, so after getting us safely out at sea, Avery offers to let any non-conspirators take a longship, or a longboat, and then head back to shore. So he's not like obligating them to participate in the mutiny. He even offers to let the original captain of the Charles II like have his job back if he wants to actually command the expedition, to which the guy's like, nah, I'm good. So they put that guy and a few other guys into a boat, send them back to port. And then they hold an election. Well, let's gotta cross the wind a little here. I can't. They're going further north. Yeah, then they hold an election, because that's what you do when you're a pirate crew. And of course, Avery gets elected to the role of captain. And one of his first sort of actions that he takes is to rename the Charles II. And he picks one of what will become one of the most famous pirate ship names in history. He names her the Fancy. And then he informs everyone that they're not going to be sailing for the Caribbean anymore. Instead, they're going to be heading for... Oops. I got a little too close there. Oh no! I didn't know that could happen. Oh my goodness. Well, that's good to know. So much for that. Apparently, if you get too close to the shallows, if with the bigger boats, they can just get scraped against the side of the island and sink. Good to know. Alright, let's sell this other one off and sell off some of our hard-won plunder. Merchant first. But yeah, that's the nice thing too, is like in having this area, like we've got a port on either side to kind of play defense. If the Spanish send anybody, but they've also got so much money to spend on goods. And the prices are so good. Shipwright. And then we'll sell her. And repair the Brunei. And then we're back on it. In fact, let's mix it up a little bit. What lays to the southeast here? Puerto Cabello, which is like a new holding. They've got Caracas and Cumana and Margarita. Let's go down to Puerto Cabello. See if we can recruit there. And then sail along the coast and hit some of those places. Because what would be nice is if we can put some more pressure on the Spanish interests over here, we might be able to push them to where the Dutch can take some of these ports. And what we've got here in this nice little situation, we can possibly expand it to be like the entire coast of Brazil over here. Because that would be pretty cool. I would like that. That would be very handy. One second. Yeah, I did manage to fix some of the alt-tabbing issues that I was having before. If you remember from last week, the whole screen would just go blank every time I would tab out. I had to dig into the configs and fix some of that. But yeah, Avery's mutiny specifically was pretty exceptional in the sense that it didn't really press too many people. There's some historical implication that he... Welcome back, Crockett. Yeah, Avery's mutiny is remarkable in the sense that it didn't press gang a lot of people. Although there is some record that he probably pressed, or at least gonna go to some meetings today. You'll be back later. Okie doke. It was good to see you, Crockett. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I hope your meetings go well. You're always welcome whenever I'm streaming. Yeah, it's pretty likely that he pressed some of the more vital roles. Like, for example, you would have the role of like your master of sail, your carpenter. Usually you would only have 1 or 2 people skilled in those vocations available at a given time. What are you? What are you? Trade galleon, 40 men. Perfect. Yoink. And so if you didn't have those rules on board, you would be in very bad shape. So either he was very successful at getting those men on his side, or else he likely applied some level of pressure to them specifically. But he did. There is one of the things that's nice about the Mutiny of Henry Avery is that there's a very thorough documentation of the trials that some of his crew were later subjected to that lay out in excruciating detail a lot of what happened on that night in particular while they're heading for a Dutch trading post. We should knock them out. If we don't do that, that could be a problem. Yeah, these guys have a lot of crew, but they don't have a lot of like structure. So if we can hit them a few times, they should sink relatively quickly. We don't want them to board us, because that would be very, very bad. These little piraguas. Come on, come on, come on. I think that one's done for, or maybe it's just the sails that are down. Let's find out. Oh, they got away. Gotta keep hammering on them. They still have entirely too many crew. And I don't even know if we can catch them at this point, but we're gonna try. But either way, like the sort of the cost of doing business when it came to Avery's approach with letting all of those people head back to port was that he ended up being very, very short-handed aboard the Fancy. Because she was a 46-gun ship, which is massive by like the standards of the time period. Incredibly capable boat. But for those 46 guns, he only had 80 men aboard. And the size of the guns in particular, like a full gun crew would have been like 4 to 6 men basically per gun, depending on the size of the gun. I'm talking about like the person running powder, the person, you know, ramming, the person aiming, like all these different things. There we go, she struck the colors. And they're not going to have very much to like loot, but the main thing is to keep them from getting to the Dutch settlements and causing trouble. But yeah, so as you can see, like 46 guns and 80 dudes, that's not nearly enough to accomplish much of anything. What is she doing? Headed for Caracas. Must be a smuggler or something. So what Avery's solution for this is that he knows that he needs to get more men, which is going to be doing what we're essentially doing in this game. You go and you hit up all of the ports in the region, and you start looking for dudes. The problem is they were sailing into the East Indies, which was not a spot where you would have large amounts of ports available, like in the Caribbean. You couldn't go to a bunch of smaller ports and like put together your crew that way. So in order to sort of facilitate his process, he starts attacking merchant vessels, specifically English merchant vessels, along the way. And unlike the men at the early stages of his mutiny, like Avery is perfectly content to press these men into service. They can end up capturing like, let's see here. Excellent. A bit more money. I think we're okay on food for the moment. We'll take the spice though, and a couple extra guns. We won't bother with the prize because she's just going to slow us down and take from our crew. And we're running very low on crew as it is. So let's take what we've got here. We're going to set in on Puerto Cabello. Yeah, she's a little beefy. We're getting to the point where we're just too thinly stretched. But yeah, so the first thing Henry Avery does is he goes and he attacks these 3 English merchant ships, and they press like 9 or 10 sailors from the ship, add to their own crew. Probably people that they needed specifically, like doctors and things like that. Or people who were in high demand that they didn't necessarily have among the original mutineers. But what they did when they took all of those supplies and all those men... Yeah, I'll take some info on Tortuga. Food, luxuries, 120 soldiers, which isn't too bad. We might be able to take Tortuga. That would be interesting. Prices and quantities for trade items fluctuate wildly. Okay. So Dios Vivo, bound for Puerto Cabello, is carrying over 1,000 in gold. Spanish trade galleon. Oh yeah, she's coming right over. She's right there. Looks like our nemesis is heading down towards the Caribbean Isles. Just taking that sort of like big loop. Let's see. Trade with the merchant while we're here. See what the prices are like. Sugar prices aren't great. Sugar prices are much better up north, but we're not going to sell too many of those. So we'll keep the spice for now, and then we'll sell the stuff that we're not going to get as much money for. We'll sell the goods here, and then we'll keep the high value items from when we go further north. Shipwright. We'll sell off this trade galleon. That's fine. And then we'll repair, and then get our grape shot upgrade. Money's a little bit tight right now, but I think we're going to do okay. But now that we have grape shot, we'll have an easier time capturing ships, which is what we need to do anyway. And we also don't have like almost a third of our entire crew just keeping the tender afloat. Alright. This is the girl we want right here, the El Dios Vivo. Yeah. She's probably going to try and run, but that's okay. We just need to be in a situation where we can do this and kind of catch it on our prow. Dropping a round shot. I need to soften her up. Popped a few of her guns. We'll grape shot her. Yeah, there we go. Cool. 1,000 gold pieces, just like that. The benefit of a good reputation. And then we can take that sugar up north, remember, because there are a couple ports up there. Curacao buys sugar, very, very high price. So we just take them up there. We'll keep her and we'll sell her because she doesn't have any damage on her. And then we'll try and take this other ship as well. And we'll head north and we'll sell our sugar. But yeah, so what Avery ends up doing in order sort of to keep up the ruse that he's written for himself in his head is he writes out a bill of sale to these English merchant ships. And it's clearly forged. There's no world in which this guy is actually trying to legitimately make a sale. Ah, it's a little too far out. There we go. More like it. He's just looking to cover his butt, so that if anyone asks, you're like, oh no, we totally traded with them, and there would at least be a little bit of, yeah, we'll bring him aboard, why not? And then we'll keep her. We're good on food, we'll take the spices. And then we'll see how much we need to sell in order to keep our cargo. Oh no. Sailing through those shallows like that, that's bad. Alright. Merchant. Okie dokie, let's see. We want to keep the sugar because we know we can sell that for a very high price. In fact, we might buy a bunch of sugar here, honestly. That's what we'll do. We'll sell off the spice, and then we'll max this. Well, it's not maxed out just yet. We definitely need a little more food. And we'll sell off our price. After dump 21 tons of cargo? Oh my goodness. Alright, so we need to move 21 tons of cargo off. Guns are down pretty well. Honestly, at this point, we might just keep the tender, just so we can move as much sugar as we can, because that will turn us the highest profit, I think. So if we go and we pay for the repair for the Brunei, might as well repair this, I guess, just so we can make decent time, and then we'll keep her, trade with the merchants since the sugar is low in price here, and then we'll run that back up north to Curacao and sell that there. I think that'll be the play. Bring a few more men on board. Apparently Indians attack Puerto Cabello.
Weddings allowed.
Roque Brasiliano's ship has iron scantlings. Interesting. Wonder what the difference is about the Royal sloop versus what we've got right now, which is a sloop of war. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Oh, it keeps triggering... It keeps triggering the, going into port. That's very strange. Let's see. Let's talk to the governor, maybe? I don't want to dance right now. Not interested. Thank you, lady. Alright. Alright. Cool. Alright, we'll sail north towards Curacao. Some of this sold. Yeah, the other thing that Avery does in order to gain sort of a little bit of operating capital, because he knows he's going to have to hire a bunch of men on, and he's going to need funds to make modifications to the ship that he wants to do later on. He goes and sort of applies some of the skills that he gained earlier in his career as a slaver on the African coast. And he tricks several of the folks who are native to the area aboard the ship and then just sails off with them. It is a painfully common tactic. At this time, let's get some of these together. 24 maybe? Yeah. And now that we've got that sold, we can probably sell off our tender. Then we repair. Alright, then we're back in action. Okay. Right, we'll take a few men on board. You can see we're getting a lot more men, so if we just have more ships, we have more space for more dudes. That could be advantageous for sure. I believe you have an uncle who's been missing for many years. The evil Spaniard Baron Raymondo has information which will be of great value to you. At the moment, he's hiding in the city of Havana. Interesting. Time to beat up a captain of the guard and then head for Havana, I guess. Oh dear. See, whenever I try to do the counter stuff, it just doesn't go well. I guess this is a good chance to, like, practice. Yeah, there's the block. There's the jump. There we go. Alright, okay. Like, it's readable, it's just it's weird. It's strange. Sorry, boys, we're all full.
Winnings allowed.
And then the rest of this, I'm pretty sure I already know. Yeah, we'll go ahead and sail out. But yeah, so Avery goes down the coast and he spends a large amount of time capturing these 3 merchantmen and these slaves, with his ultimate goal, this trade galleon real quick. Schmack him. With his ultimate goal being to get to Madagascar, which at the time Madagascar was known to be sort of a free port of a kind, which is a nice way of saying a pirate haven. Very common with people who had practiced Avery's previous trade as kind of an unsanctioned slaver along the coast of Africa. As well as, you know, Red Sea pirates and folks of that nature who were preying sometimes on the exploits of the Portuguese and the Dutch, and to a certain extent on the English as well, because the East India Trading Company was active in India at the time, and also in the Spice Islands. Madagascar was sort of the touchstone for all these things, just off the eastern coast of India. So before they got to, let's see, Montalban is on his way to Mana. He set sail from San Juan 6 days ago. Interesting. Alright, I'll grab some of these goods. At this point, I'm just trying to build up a war chest. I need to go find some better boats. I think what I need to do is go near some Spanish cities. And I need to attack them enough for them to send a pirate hunter, and then I can capture the pirate hunter and then run with that. Another little trade galleon here. These trade galleons are good, like they're quick to grab, which is nice. But the downside with them specifically is that they are not going to help me take on any of these men that I need to take on, like Montalban and Raimundo, because they have very large ships. And losing that brig of war was very unfortunate. I'll take a look. Let's see, Knife Reef. Okay, north of Gran Granada. It's a very weird sort of map shape. Yeah, you're still here. I went to my room because it's cooler there. You know, lay on my bed and then I fell asleep unsurprisingly. Hello, Brig. Good to see you. Nap sounds good, especially when it's as hot as it is where you are, I believe. I saw something about that today. It looked very balmy. I don't want to know about Marquis Montalban. I can't take him on yet. Leave me alone. Yeah, I hope you had a nice refreshing nap. We've just been hanging out today, playing some pirates, and talking about Henry Avery. It's 25 Celsius in my house right now. Oh my goodness. In the house? In the house? That's terrifying. Alright, get over here, dude. Give me all of your treasure. Literally all of it. I want it right now. Oh no, it's fine. I speak centigrade. I appreciate the clarification though. Internet's finally back. Yippee! Excellent. I'm glad your internet is back. Oh, that stern rake though. That was pretty. Hello, George. How are you? As your ship approaches, the enemy strikes your colors. A pretty pile of golden plunder is yours for the taking. Damn right it is. Yeah, don't slay Rose. Rose can slay. It's a question of subject predicate. Slay Rose is a very different sentence from Rose slay. Oh man, look at all these goods. These are going to sell so well in Curacao. I'm very happy. I don't need any more guns. Yes, there you go, Rose Slay. Good. So this girl is 2 damage. She's going to slow us down big time, so I'm just going to sink her. She's not worth it. She's only a few hundred gold worth. She's already served her purpose by delivering me 700 gold and probably another 700 gold worth of goods. So to the bottom she goes, unfortunately. Oops, what happened there? What the heck? Wait a minute. Hello, Amy. Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to the stream. Yes, I think that's what it was, Amy, yeah. Not Guy, for sure not. But yes, the person using the Raspberry Pi. Ooh, a troop transport. Have you ever used Flipper Zero? I've heard about the Flipper Zero. Yes, RIP Pi indeed. Yeah, the Flipper, that's the one that's supposed to mess around with radio frequencies, isn't it? So like you can use it to scrape Wi-Fi stuff and NFC. You can't see my stream. Well, that's weird. It should still be broadcasting as far as I know on my side. Alright, fast galleon. She's worn down on her guns. We're going to go for her crew next. It's going to slow down her reload as well as make it easier for us to take. High 5 needs extra cooling now even. Yeah, I've heard about that. The pies are getting so beefy now. Hacks all the neighbor Wi-Fi. Please don't hack your neighbor's Wi-Fi. Get their consent before messing with your neighbor's Wi-Fi, please. Yes, we are on the Pi 5 Rose, and it's glorious. Isn't that the... I think it's got dual HDMI. You can technically get, like, dual secondary display on the thing. Like, double 4K display. Alright, Spanish Fast Galleon, get over here. They still want to fight. They still want to fight me. Okay. You can't see my stream, George. Have you tried refreshing? It should still be going. Is anyone else having any issues seeing the stream? It shows content restricted. Well, that's interesting. It shouldn't have. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, George. If it's showing content restricted, it shouldn't be on my end because I don't have it set to that. And either way, you should be able to click through if it's content restricted. There's a possibility that it might be restricted by region, depending on where you're from. Yes, it looks like Peter Pan cartoon. It does. So this game is Sid Meier's Pirates. This is a 2004 remake of a 1986 game. And it's one of the best, like, all-around pirate games in history, in my opinion. Just because it really nails a lot of the energy that you would expect from a pirate story in general. Like, you don't just take over a ship, you go and you fight the captain in a duel. If you want to enter a town with people who don't like you, then you've got to sneak in under cover of night and play a little mini-game for that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's neat. A very fun, silly little game. Yeah, the main benefit for that was not to take any treasure, because as you can see, it doesn't have much treasure, but that was a troop ship. So all the different nations in this game, they'll go and they'll send troop ships, they'll send trade ships, they'll send things that sort of affect the shape of the game world around you. And if you interrupt them, then it sort of changes the flow of the game. You can see here we've got this grain transport. If that grain transport arrives at its destination, wherever it's going, that's going to increase the size of the town that it arrives at. If we sink it, that increase in size never happens. We've stopped it. But you can see now, as we've gotten a higher reputation, the Spanish have started sending their grain ships with escorts. So this right here is a sloop of war. Is the same size ship we are. The other part of that is we currently only have 47 men because we lost a bunch in that fight. So you have to make these decisions on the fly, and then those decisions sort of radiate out into the rest of the game world as a whole, which is really nice. Ah. 1 second. There we go. I think I keep accidentally hitting some sort of a quick save. The other issue with this game is it's very old, so the mechanics for it are very jank. Or the interface for it's a little jank, so the keyboard buttons do weird, so I keep trying to use WSAD, but it's all controlled via the numpad instead. You can kind of see down there on the bottom right. So I keep trying to hit A in order to turn to port, and it ends up going and sending me back to the last town I docked at. Which is not what I want at all. Yes, the numpad controls exactly break. But so far, like, we've been sailing mostly with the Dutch, specifically down here around Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba off the coast of South America. This has kind of been our home base where we've been hanging out. And just because we've been sort of like paying attention and weighing things a little bit, the Dutch have opened up right down here. We've got a new Dutch settlement, Puerto Cabello, or Cabello down here. The south has swept over to the Dutch. The Spanish have slowly started losing ground here on the northern coast of South America. I am really low on water. What for keyboards that don't have numpads anymore? Prince and Vlag? Oh, help. Yeah. Well, there is an alternate way of controlling it, break, so here, I'll show you. You can click, and it will kind of maneuver towards wherever you click. But that's not really all that great. It's a little kludgy. You can kind of get away with it, but I feel like the numpad is the way to go. That's part of the thing, though, is like I don't think interface-wise this game holds up super well. Because it tried a bunch of new things that aren't necessarily like working. Let's see, that aren't necessarily like what we're used to in the modern era, which is the case with a lot of like older games. All right, let's take the straight galleon. There's no way she's going to be able to outrun us. But the trick is not to get hit. Pi 5 can already run a Minecraft server. What the fuck can Pi 5 do? I don't know. I can only imagine, Rose. Start that Dogecoin farm that everyone's always been talking about. I don't even know if that's still a thing anymore, but like Dogecoin was supposedly really popular for a minute 2 or 3 years ago. And I thought that was the funniest thing. The Pi 4 can talk to me already, shake my head, yeah. So many goods. Okay, I need to take these back and sell them because we are way overloaded on goods right now. We'll take all that, yes please. Actually, we'll just take it all. We'll just yoink it all. And then we'll keep the boat as a prize, and then we'll sail back south, and we'll sell this off at Curacao. Rose's Discord is obviously a cult. Why? Because the Pi is talking to Rose? As the Pi began to offer commandments in stone tablet form. Yeah, the other thing that's really interesting about this game is that it's not designed to be played from beginning to end and like have a set story. The arrangement of the systems is it kind of plays like the old Sid Meier Civilization games, where like at the end of the game you're given a score. And that score puts you in sort of like a hall of fame, and a lot of it's determined by what you do and don't get around to in a particular playthrough. Which is something that you see a lot with games like Skyrim in the modern era, but they don't give you points anymore, they don't give you a score. The one thing I adore about this game overall is that it does that for you. It invites you to replay it by keeping track of exactly how well, more or less, you did on a given playthrough. Which is cool. Alright, let's see here. Doing okay on food for now. And then we need to check in with the shipwright. What do we got here? We got a trade galleon, 2 trade galleons, and we got a sloop of war. So we don't need these trade galleons. We're going to sell them off. Because we really only needed those to carry our treasure. We're going to visit the tavern. We're full up on crew, so nobody there, I guess. And Captain Kidd's treasure off Grand Granada. I should go find that, I think. I think that'll be the next one. Head for Grand Granada. The Nuestro Señor de la Popa, bound from Maracaibo, is carrying over 1,000 in gold. She's a Spanish trade galleon. Where's she coming from? Trinidad? Alright. Oh my, fruit is spicy. Oh? What type of fruit have you got, Break? What are you eating that is spicy and also a fruit? Yeah, you also get like these rumors which will have particular ships coming by that are super valuable. Melon, oh my goodness. Spicy melon. Yeah, that's not supposed to be spicy. That's incorrect. You should tell the melon that it's incorrect. Nope, I don't want to divide. I want to check the ship right. Okay. Yeah, let's go and try and capture that Spanish vessel. One that has a bunch of money on it. Spanish sloop of war Amphitrite. Oh, I'll pass. That's the one we want, right there on the western side. I think it's becoming wine. Yeah, that would explain the spicy. Come here. Get over here. Get over here. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that's the one we want. Nuestra Señora de la Popa. Hammer her, then we're going to stern rake her. That sloop of war is coming in spicy hot. Grape shot. That'll knock her down a peg or two. Then we'll come in for the round shot. Oh no! No! Aruba, a prosperous Dutch village. Oh help. Yeah, I know, right? I was afraid of that. That was unfortunate. So your last ship destroyed, you're washed up on a deserted island. Many months pass before you're rescued by a passing pirate ship. The men elect you as captain. Damn. That's all the gold lost. That's a shame. Let's see, the former constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands ain't doing so well overall. Yeah, there is probably a reason for that. Funny how that works, right? Alright, get some men together, I guess. That was a really unfortunate loss. I think I bit off more than I can chew. I need a bigger boat. That's what I need more than anything else right now, is a bigger boat. I need like a brig. I need something with a little bit of size. La Mancha bound for Caracas? Yeah, carrying over 2,600 gold. She's a Spanish ocean bark. That would be the perfect target. Okay. So she's coming from Maracaibo. She's heading for Caracas. So if we just sail southeast from here, even the special municipalities who are directly part of the European Netherlands don't enjoy the same privileges. That's interesting. We've got a few territories kind of in a similar category in the United States as well. But they're much further away, so it's much easier to ignore. Which municipalities are those, incidentally? I'm curious. But depending on what the escort for that bark is, we might be able to intercept her. If we can, that would be a nice payout. And then we can set off for Gran Granada. That's not a bark, that's a galleon. So with the bark, we're looking for something that has what's called gaff sails, which if you see like the big triangle sails like that, that's what we want. Looks like she's on her own. Military payroll. She's going to have a lot of men, but I think we might be able to get her. Oh, she's not even that well armed. We're of that. No thanks. Come here, little bark. Don't make this any harder than it is. Donk. Bonaire, Saba, and Saint Eustatius? Eustatius? Oh, interesting. Wrecked. I'll take it. Excellent. Why didn't it capture? That was very strange. We got her fair and square, I thought. What the heck? Did it bug out? Try one more time, I guess. Ow. Yeah, run away. That's right. Run, run, run. I'll do it. Overseas territories of the European Union. As such, European Union law does not automatically apply to them. Oh, I see. I see how that works. One of the Spanish crewmen is a skilled carpenter who makes hull repairs at sea. Excellent. 2,600 pieces. That's what I wanted to see right there. Alright, we'll take some guns on board just because it's nice to have. We don't want the ocean bark as a ship to sail, but we can sell her as a prize. We'll just take everything. Yeah, have you seen the layout of the map yet, Break, since we've been sailing down here off of the coast of South America? It's getting interesting. We will trade with the merchant and we'll sell off some of this food. Oh, okay, one second, I'll show you. It is a very colorful little bit of historical revisionism. Alright, so if you look at the map, this is where we've been spending most of our time, and when we got here, Curaçao was really the only major Dutch holding in the area, but since they've expanded over into Bonaire and Aruba, and they recently sent an expedition south to capture Puerto Cabello from the Spanish, and on top of that, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but there's a new settlement that's just cropped up right over here in Reichsstadt, I guess? Yeah, Reichsstadt, let's go with that. Yeah, over in this sort of corner. So this entire area has been slowly just kind of expanding. We've been kicking butt and taking names. Not a whole lot has been happening over here in the Caribbean islands. San Martin is technically Dutch still, but they haven't made any sort of like inroads or anything. Then we've been sailing for the English over here in Port Royal, sailing out of Jamaica. Whenever we end up in that area, whenever we feel like navigating the Windward Passage. Reichsdomstadt. I see, okay. Interesting. Reichsdomstadt. Yeah, usually when I've got it laid out, I can put the pieces together. Thanks for laying it out. But the main issue is that we're struggling to get a big enough ship to actually like do anything big, like capture any of the settlements ourselves or anything like that. And that setback of losing our little sloop of war is very bad. Very unfortunate. Let's see if we can hit her in the stern with this grape shot before we board her. That'll work. Ah, I can't hit her. Yeah, it's getting towards an interesting point in the game where you kind of have to scale up because we've gotten enough fame to where we can easily recruit. We don't have enough good ships to regularly recruit extra men. Because a lot of these trade galleons are too slow to really use to capture anything. Unless, like, you're in my situation where your sails have been shot full of holes. Then you might have to, like, you know, even the odds a little bit. I say as I miss completely. Come on, baby, get over here. But yeah, in addition to playing a little bit of Pirates today, we've also been talking about Henry Avery, specifically his mutiny out of the port of La Coruña. How he captured the Charles II in a bloodless coup and sailed her out to sea, renamed her the Fancy, and then realized he didn't have enough men for his boat. He had too much boat for his men. So in tradition of sailing folk of all eras and all times, Avery figured that his best solution overall was going to be to press gang other people to do his work for him. Me when I have too much boat for my men, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of remarkable because the Charles II was originally created as a privateering vessel. She was privately commissioned. There we go. I knew you'd come around to my way of thinking. Yoink. I'll take that, and all your other stuff too. Thanks very much. That sugar will sell very, very well in Curacao. But yeah, so the Charles II, later renamed the Fancy, she was a 46-gun ship. Which, bear in mind, this is a time period when if you were a privateer, you'd be lucky if you had a ship with like 6 to 8 guns. Like the French standard for a privateering vessel, they had to pass a rule at one point for their privateering ships, stating that all privateering vessels were required to carry 6 because people were going out with even fewer than that and attempting to get in dust-ups with Spanish and English like shipping. Yeah. So imagine a private individual in charge of a 46-gun essentially frigate. Let's see here. We'll trade with the merchant. We'll sell off our goods first, since that's what we're here for. And they're going to give us 9 apiece in Curacao, which is a really good price for sugar. Take it. We've got enough food for now, and we don't need this many guns, so I'll sell off some of that to make some room in the cargo hold. We'll sell off our prize, and repair the ship, and upgrade the cannons while we're here. Problem solved. But yeah, so we'll talk to the governor here too and see what he's got going on. Baroness Erebus, please come in. Oh, they're only at war with the French now. They're not at war with the Spanish anymore. Oops! I've been pirating. Accidentally. I am no longer a privateer. Understand there's recently a new governor in Aruba. Excellent. The king will be so pleased. Soon you'll be promoted to countess. The governor's daughter, for which we have a little bit of a fling going. She has demanded either a ruby ring or a sparkling diamond necklace before she will continue the courtship, however. So we're at a stopping point there for the time being. Until I make enough money to put a ring on it, I guess. I don't know. Nobility. Alright, we'll bring some men aboard. Oh, there's the ring. That's too expensive. I'm cheap. That's not happening.
Winnings allowed.
Jack Rackham has a lightning quick jump dueling skill. Interesting. We need to hit Jack Rackham at one of these points. And then other info on the Marquis Montalban. He's the man who kidnapped all of our family. He's kind of the in-game boss, as it were, right? But he just kind of wanders around, which is really cool too, because he's got like a home base that he operates out of. But he goes around and he does stuff. He's not just sitting there like waiting for us. Waiting for us to mess, or waiting for us to like come say hello to him. He's out there running treasure and sinking ships and like having his own sort of effect on the game world, which is pretty neat. Red, white, light blue is the Staatenflag. What's the Staatenflag? You'll have to clue me in on that one. Also, where's Gran Granada? We have a treasure map around Gran Granada. Ooh, it's way over there. Oh my god. How do we get over there? How do we get over there? We can't even get it. We have to go over there on land, I guess. Oh my goodness. Alright. Huh. That's very strange. What does that mean for our treasure map? So the treasure map is for Gran Granada. Search north of Gran Granada. Stonehead, Knife Reef. We've got this point here, and we've got that point there. So if we're looking north of Gran Granada, it would have to be like here? Question mark, question mark? I don't even know. Let's see. We've got a point and a little islet. No other little islet to the east of it, as near as I can tell. So it would have to be... Maybe it's like this point? Looking for a deserted cavern. Knife Reef. Okay, that'll be our main indicator. So I guess we're sailing for the Spanish Main, y'all. We're gonna need a lot of fucking food. Let's see. The former was flown up to 1630 and the latter from 1663. Don't attack. That's good. Okay, former was flown to 1630 and the latter from 1663. Between those times, both flags were used. Staatenflag is the one you see in this game. Ah, okay, I see. Interesting. That is good to know. Alright, before I go too aggressively towards the west, I need to stock up. I need to plan this a little bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to sail northwest to Port Royal. We're going to stock up on food there. And then we're going to head west towards the main and check out this area north of Gran Granada, because if there is a Knife Reef on this little chain of islands, that might be where we can dig and look for the treasure. It's more similar to the flag of Luxembourg. Ah, okay. I see. Very interesting. It's Petit Guave. I cannot pronounce the French names of stuff in this game to save my life. Jamaica Channel. Port Royal, here we come. So we didn't get any credit for kicking any of the Spanish in the butt, because apparently now the Dutch and the Spanish are at peace. So French is an impossible language, and I failed badly in high school. I took Latin in high school. I'm that flavor of nerd, I'm afraid. And it's not very helpful. Latin is not very helpful in speaking French, as it turns out. Okay, so at least the English are still at war with the Spanish. Recently you captured a Spanish trade galleon and you captured a Spanish ocean bark. Excellent, the king will be pleased. I've been promoted to Baroness. See, this is why you keep allegiances in at least 2 different camps in this game. Increase the size of your estate by 400 acres. Oh my goodness. And then the daughter. I also have a fling with her. It's a whole thing. Unfortunately, it's the same sort of situation where she wants a ring. So that's not going anywhere further anytime soon.
Zilla.
But yeah, each of these ranks carries with it a little advantage, which is part of the reason we're able to recruit so many men now. Yeah, put a ring on it. That's what Steph was saying earlier. I think he went to bed, which is good because he needs to sleep. See, that's a little bit better price for a ring. 1,800 gold pieces. Yeah, I'll take that. The other guy wanted 2,700. Spanish treasure fleet is headed for Puerto Bello with a fortune in gold bullion. Interesting. Evil Baron Raimundo. Last I heard, he had left Santiago and was heading in the direction of Havana, so he's sailing for Cuba, huh? Or sailing all over Cuba, I guess I should say. Alright, check in with the shipwright. We've got the money. Let's put some iron scantlings on it. Well, the prince's flag was orange, white, and blue, not red, white, and blue. Current flag, which is the latter, is sometimes risen with an orange pennant. I see. That makes a certain kind of sense. Yeah, no, we need to stock up on so much food because we're going to be heading for the main, and there's no guarantee of when we'll be able to get more. This is going to be interesting. Alright, let's see if I can give her this ring. Nope, I can only do it when I come back with, after doing some nice things for the English, apparently. Alright, so we're looking at 5 months of food, which is not great. We need to capture a Spanish prize along the way. To carry enough food for us not to die. Namely on King's Day and some royals' birthdays. I see, okay. Wait, is like King's Day like a certain celebration then? Is it a given day or is it just like multiple days for different people's birthdays? Oh, okay. Interesting. Imagine being king and then demanding that they give you a whole day. Bloody Shallows. Yeah, we'll use this opportunity. We'll sail along the southern coast of Cuba here and see if we can pick off a Spanish prize. The Princeton flag was the flag of the family of Orange-Nassau long before the Netherlands was a monarchy. I see. Okay. A pirate haven, Plage Noire. Stede Bonnet. I love Stede Bonnet. He's a really silly pirate. Imagine being such a nerd that you decide you're gonna get together a big old boat. You're gonna build your own pirate ship and go play pirate in the Caribbean Ocean, and you have Stede Bonnet, a perfectly acceptable member of the planting nobility who decided to turn pirate because he thought it sounded cool. Nope, I'm not playing that. Not playing that game. No sir, Mr. Bonnet. But since they have so crucial in the liberation of the Netherlands, they have always held high positions in the Republic. I see. Interesting. We're gonna take out a few of his crew. Then we're gonna swing in and see if we can take him out. That will also probably raise our standing in the overall like coolest pirates list. Come on. This is why you want to have a faster boat, because you can pull off stuff like this. Come on, buddy. Oh yeah, he's hurting now. Alright, here we go. First fight with the legendary pirate. Let's see how this turns out. Yeah, Steve Bonnet was also notorious for having his own library aboard his ship, which wasn't very common at the time, and also wandering around the officer's deck in his bathrobe. There's more to the story than that, but he's a very colorful character. History has not been very kind to him. He kind of gets painted as a little bit more of a fool than he probably was. Oof. Yeah, that tracks. Poor Steed. Evil Baron Raymondo is on his way to Havana. He set sail from Santiago 62 days ago. Yeah, I know. Oh my heavens. Oh my goodness. 10,000 gold? Plus all those cannons, all that food, and also a new boat. Thank you, Steed. You're so kind. The sordid career of the 5th most notorious pirate, Stede Bonnet, has come to an end. Oh dear. Alright, I need to take that ship, make that my new ship, and then also repair her. So we're going to sail back this way. We're going to stop at that pirate base. And normally I would mess with the French, but I have too much of value on board at the moment to do much with. But yeah, much like we're about to repair this ship, one of Henry Avery's first actions that he took after taking command of the Charles II and renaming her to the Fancy was he beached the Fancy, and he had her careened and raised. So careening is something that you see a bunch on ships like even today. It's not as much of an issue as it was when ships were made of wood. But it is definitely still an issue. You have barnacles that grow on the bottom of the ship, right? They go and they make their home there and they hang out. Right. I'm going to repair her, upgrade her with fine powder. We're going to keep this sloop for the moment, I think. Wait, no, I wanted to repair. Oh, she didn't take any damage. Didn't even take any damage. Oh my goodness. Alright, cool. That works for me. We're on 12,000 gold right now, which is very nice. I like that. Visit the tavern and get some more crew. Offers to sell you a French chapeau. This will help guarantee an invitation to the ball and can be yours for only 1,200 gold pieces. I don't need a chapeau. I'm already get enough invitations as it is. Thanks for that, pal. Rumored that the San Joseph, bound for Santa Catalina, is carrying over 3,000 in gold. Spanish war galleon. Spicy. Oh my goodness, that's a long voyage. I'll pass. Left Havana is heading in the direction of Santa Catalina. Alright, I'll keep a note. He'll be down in our neighborhood maybe by the time we finish this voyage. That would be nice. Yeah, we'll come in here. We'll go ahead and set this Brigantine Revenge. We'll set that as our flagship. We'll talk to the captain here. My men have gambled away their last golden doubloons. It is time to take to the seas to pillage and plunder. Which city is most weakly defended? Havana has very few soldiers. Grand Bahamas needs plundering. Florida Keys. New Netherlands. I don't like the Spanish very much. Let's cause some trouble for the Spanish. You should go attack Havana. You know what would be really funny? You know what would be extremely funny? Is if we were to follow that pirate ship, wait for them to finish attacking Havana, and then when Havana has been divested of most of its troops, we could just pile in and capture it and take it for the Dutch. That would be extremely funny. Reminds me of that song. Which one is that? There are several songs about Havana. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we got a brigantine now. Brigantines are nice. They've got a lot of guns. They've got more cargo capacity. It's exactly what we need. On top of that, it already has some upgrades, which is very, very welcome as well. What's that back there? French brig transporting troops. Yeah, I don't mind if I do. Brig of war. Ooh. Havana Onana from Camila Cabello. I'll have to check that out. That sounds nice. Alright, 20 guns. If we can get this brig of war, then that will be a great little flotilla. She's got more troops than we do, but she has fewer guns. So if we take out some of her guns, like that, and then we hit her. Oh, we don't have grape shot. That's a problem. Forgot this ship does not have grape shot. We might just have to sink her. Screw it. 125 versus 185. Let's do this. Rapier, don't fail me now. Come on, Rapier, don't fail me now. No, don't fail me now, I said. Oh, he's fast. He's so fast. He's too fast. Too fast. Damn. Oh no. Alright, screw it. I'm taking this ship. I'm doubling down. This is happening. I'm gonna knock out her crew. And she's gonna be my new flagship, mark my words. Why do we bring 2 boats, chat? So that when the first one sinks, we can grab them with the second. That's why we bring 2 boats. Alright, you bastards. That's more like it. Get over here. Ooh. Come on. Yes, now we're talking. My brig. Yoink. Excellent. Take all. We're gonna keep her. This one does have grape shot, so that'll be a lot more useful. Drunken sailor, what to do with a drunken sailor. So this game ran into a very similar issue to what the one that Sea of Thieves ran into, which is to say that they wanted to use what can you do with a drunken sailor as one of their motifs, but you can't really like sing about drunkenness in a game without raising it at least to like teen instead of E for everyone. No, I don't want to attack that. I want to get back and get this ship repaired. So instead, in this case, they just replaced it with like grunting. And then in terms of like Sea of Thieves, they rechanged it to We Will Sail Together, but it has the exact same tune as What Do You Do with a Drunken Sailor. It's a very silly workaround, in my opinion. Or how they make it so that you can drink grog in Sea of Thieves, as opposed to like, you know, a specifically alcoholic beverage. It makes you drunk too, like it's pretty clear what it is and what's going on. Prices here are terrible. Take 32 guns. Then we'll consult with the shipwright. We'll repair her. We'll repair the Brunei. Might as well buy the fine grain powder while we're here. Yeah, so the Brune's a little bit better, like, kitted out. She's got the triple hammocks and all that good stuff. She's an okay fallback. You can hold on to it for now. I don't feel like it wouldn't be such an issue here. Yeah, it's very much a sort of like American issue. We have issues when it comes to drinking and drunkenness. Alright, let's see. Fleet status. That new brig of war, the Desiree, will be our flagship. 73 crew, 200 max. And I think we've got enough food. Yeah, we've got like 14 months worth of food. Stop off at this French settlement, see if we can take on a few more men, because we don't have enough to actually like get us the no men here. Weather glass aids in sailing around storms and hurricanes. Yeah, no thanks. Don't think I need that. I tremble with apprehension. 7th most notorious pirate on the entire Spanish Main. Well, there you go. Left Havana, was headed for Santa Catalina. Heading south, yeah. Alright. Coma Zoe Pen, drinking yourself into a coma is a legit word here, although the issue has been less prevalent last few years, I feel like. Yeah. Most start drinking at like 13. Oh my goodness. Yeah, here in the US, they're very particular about 21, and yet at the same time kind of like idealize drinking younger than that. Like it's a very common sort of trope in like coming of age films and stuff like that. Look at all those guns. 32 guns, baby. She's gonna have a bad time now. Yeah, here they call that blackout drunk. And like binge drinking is very much an issue in the United States. We've got like a bunch of different counties that have decided unilaterally that they're not going to allow drinking. Dry counties and things like that. And there's also a very heavy prevalence of drinking in those counties despite the laws and things that are in place. NIX 18, nothing 18 but stylized because the word is nix. But yeah, I see. Mosepen means you have to have your stomach pumped. Oof, so like alcohol poisoning at that point, I imagine. Yeah, I'll take all these goods. Mind if I do? Only need 32 guns though. Thanks, pal. World's End, a pirate haven? Interesting. This is also like way before Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, so there you go. Like you didn't black out, you were hospitalized. I see, okay. Yeah, alcohol poisoning then. That's intense. That seems like a major issue. Bring some men aboard. Yeah, I'll take some info on Havana. What are we looking at here? 160 soldiers in Havana. No new news. And info on Barramumundo heading down to Santa Catalina. They seem to really want me to know that. Let's see. Merchant prices on goods are terrible, so we're going to hold on to them. We're going to go ahead and top that off. And then sell our prize ship while we're here. And then we're going to put our triple hammocks on our new flagship. That's going to mean so that we can have much more crew on board as well. The problem of why this happens is a lot of stimulants are taken while drinking. Caffeine, MDMA, etc. Yeah, all things I imagine that heighten the effect. I ran into that a bit when I was tending bar. You would have people, usually older people, who were on the road traveling, were taking certain medications. And then, because they were taking those medications, oh, we're way too far south. Oh my goodness. No, we're doing good. We just need to continue south along the coast here, and then eventually, hopefully, this will get us what we need. What we need in terms of these, we need to find Knife Reef north of Gran Granada. Energy drink is common to mix with alcohol. Yes, yes, that is very common, and definitely heightens the effect. But most of the issue I ran into would be people who are on opiates, like certain types of painkillers, or on certain medications for depression and things like that. That would, if they even took like, it was like half glass of wine. You'd have someone who ordered a half glass of wine, and then they would just be completely drunk. And we had a hotel attached to the bar, which was fine. And we usually had people to like look after them, which is good. But it was still an issue. New Aberdeen. Interesting. English settlement. No one here to recruit. What's the merchant's pricing? Not great, but not terrible. I hear it's often XTC, I suppose, or 3 MMC. What? I'm not familiar with those. Yeah, there it is, Knife Reef. That's what we needed. Okay, so if that's Knife Reef, then this point just off to our east is the one we need to land at. Probably that one. Because yeah, those are the islands. The point is directly south of the island. So yeah, let's land right on that point, and then we'll go ashore and see if we can find this treasure. If this works out, this will probably be towards the end of the stream, because I've been going for a while today. I'm feeling a little punchy as well. I have not eaten very much today, which is a problem. XCC is MDMA, and 3-MMC is 3-methylmethcaffeinone? Okay. I see, yeah. Alright, so we're going to be looking for a deserted cabin, and then we want to look south of that, the deserted cabin, to hopefully find our treasure. Due south. There's our deserted cabin, I think. Floating off the ground, okay. I'll take it. Game is 2004, so that's fine. And there it is, right there. Buried treasure. Bingo. There's also like land combat apparently as a game, but I've never gotten that far in this game to be able to do that. A few hours of digging uncovered Captain Kidd's treasure, 8,000 gold pieces. Excellent. 3-MMC isn't well studied. I've heard people refer to it as Coke Light. Interesting. Alright, we'll return to ship here. Alright. What are we looking at here? 10 months worth of food. Let's go ahead and we'll sail back east. We'll finish off at Port Royal, I think. Then call it a stream. It's the only hard drug I've ever used. It didn't impress me, Lamau. I'm glad you tolerated it well. I hope you had a good time. Yeah, that's a big thing that I've begun to learn as I get like older and I hear more people talk about it, is that a lot of what comes down to substances, like what substances we regard as being like particularly dangerous, often comes down to like social stigma. And it certainly like can affect people negatively in very bad ways. But it's weird, very weird how like as you move upwards in society, as you become more and more wealthy, these things become less and less stigmatized, and there are more and more resources to help someone like recover and have good experiences. As opposed to situations for folks who aren't quite as well off, who just kind of like are sort of left in the lurch, as it were. Soft drugs and hard drugs are a legal distinction here. Soft drugs is basically green, and hard drugs is everything else in a nutshell, yeah. They have a little bit of that here in the US with scheduling, but the way we schedule our drugs for legal purposes is very inconsistent and messed up. And often comes down to a question of punishment. A lot of people will campaign on the back of punishing people. Just for the purposes of like making sure that they're seen as the person who is tough on drugs, TM. For building that image, essentially. Which is a shame. And so taking drugs here is never illegal. Owning and selling it, maybe. Yeah. There are some places in the US that have tried that. The problem is that we are coming in like just off the tail of the pandemic. So a lot of drug use has been spiking for things related to that. So a lot of the places that were experimenting with legalizing these things, or at least making it no longer illegal to take it, they're now reversing those decisions because there's been a spike in substance use and abuse in the US. Alright, let's see here. Trade with the merchant. We can get good prices here, so we're going to sell while we're here.
Okay.
20,000 gold, that's pretty good altogether. And then we don't want to add too many new dudes, because if we add too many new dudes, then what's going to happen is we're going to have to split. And the more men we have, the smaller our own share is going to be. Underage drinking doesn't exist here, but you can't sell to minors, and then if you've taken it, you're not in possession anymore. Yeah, fair. You can't be in trouble. Yeah. That is a way to look at it. I guess that is very much true. Alright, let's talk to the governor here and see what he's got to say. They're only at war with the French now, so now we can't even target the Spanish there. Eris how nice to see you again. Yes, it is, isn't it? Unless you're driving, that's typically not appreciated. Yeah, no kidding. I happen to have a ruby ring right here, madam, as a matter of fact. Always dreamt of wearing a ruby ring or a sparkling diamond necklace. Perhaps you shall come upon one. Lo and behold, you shouldn't have. You're right, I shouldn't have. It was very expensive. Well, okay, I'm overwhelmed. Such a charming rogue. Perhaps you can use one of these 3 items. A leather vest, a weather glass, or a 3-stringed fiddle. What do these do? Let's see. Leather vest. Rugged garment provides some protection during sword fighting. What else have you got? Weather glass. An aids sailing near storms and hurricanes. Yes, it is, isn't it? And then a 3-stringed fiddle apparently improves crew morale on long voyages. Well, most of what I'm struggling with lately has been sword fighting, so I'll take the vest, please. I guess I get something for giving her something. That's something at least. It's nice. Alright. What else do I have here in terms of leads? Also, that reminds me, I was talking a little bit about careening and raising. We can probably continue that next week, because right now we've got Henry Avery. The mutiny's happened. He's on his way to Madagascar. They've stopped to make some changes to the fancy. And we'll pick that up there on Thursday, I think. It's probably the best option, because I am starting to feel a little bit punchy. Yeah. Spanish and Dutch war are at war. The English and the French are at war. No one's at war with the Spanish? How does that happen? That shouldn't happen. Yeah, I should get food, you're right. Which one did we take out? We took out Steed Bonnet, so now he's now the 0, because we plundered all his gold. So yeah, we're now number 7th among all pirates. The Spanish at peace. I know, right? It's very incorrect. It's so wrong. It shouldn't happen. Especially not with the English at this time period. I guess they did technically sign peace with the Spanish close to this time period. It's like, I think it's like 1686 or something like that. So it's in the ballpark at least. But yeah, so I guess next week what we'll carry on with, we'll talk a little bit about Henry Avery. We'll talk about the process of careening and raising, which is how you take a ship of that time period and you make it super fast and extra dangerous, which should be a lot of fun. We'll continue climbing with the English and also the Dutch. Right now we're a baroness with each. We're going to try and find a way to do that. Continue our ongoing romance with the governor's daughter of Port Royal. And then in terms of our ongoing stuff, I know we've got I think Aruba is the place that it's for. We've got a bounty we can pursue in Aruba. We'll probably do that and then go as long as we can and then dissolve this newest voyage, split the booty, and call it good. So yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out today, folks. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. We're gonna hunt around here real quick if you don't mind hanging out. We'll find out if there's anyone we can raid. Because I keep meaning to check the rating, but I always forget. And I think, yeah, I think the person that we followed on one of Rose's streams a week or 2 ago, Jams, I think they are currently streaming as well. It looks like they are playing Uno. I don't know why they're playing Uno. But what they've been doing this really cool series where they've been talking about, or talking to LGBTQIA+ people for the month of June, sort of like interviewing and talking about variety of subjects. So they've got a couple different people they're talking with today. Um, so far, based on what I've seen, they've been fairly anti-ableist, pretty interesting, just like nice neurodivergent streamer. We're going to get the raid started with that. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Time is 11 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. And you'll see notifications in all the usual places. So, yeah, I'll see y'all on the flip side. Later.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a really amazing creator.